Welcome back to Middle Outcast. This is episode 5, being released in September 2025. Our last episode was released in March, so it has been a bit since we last spoke. And this episode's another unique one because we're still trying to find our way here. This episode was recorded on Liberation Day, April 2nd, so still quite a while ago. This is when the Tariffs first started hitting the streets, and Tom and I wanted to continue practicing recording for the show, and so we just hopped on a call and hit record. The conversation is not necessarily exciting, but it gets a bit more exciting because at about an hour and 37 minutes in, check the show notes for the exact timestamp. But we were able to get our buddy Bobby Vickers into the conversation, and he joined us from Texas and brought what we've been craving is a perspective that is quite a bit different from ours, and we thought the conversation was good enough, even in its sloppy form, to put up because that's what the show is. We wished we would have posted this quite a while ago, but life happens, and we're trying to find more sustainable ways to record this. Getting guests, specifically with dissenting, other ideas onto the show is kind of hard. And so we got some ideas of how to make that easier, and we'll be attempting to employ those over the next several months. But until then, we hope you find this conversation insightful. Thanks.
This is Middle Outcast. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Bates and Tom Rankin.
All right, it's Liberation Day. Is that today? Today is Liberation Day?
Oh. Are we more free? Did we get liberated?
But that's today, right?
Influence, yeah.
Or, okay, I didn't know if it, was tomorrow. I didn't know. So today is Liberation Day. Liberation Day 2025.
Wait, no, that was yesterday. Liberation Day was yesterday. Because he announced the tariffs at the end of the day.
So we're liberated.
Today's the fallout.
Today's the liberated day. Okay.
Yeah, today is the repercussions of being free. Having been freed. But I don't know the details yet. There's a list of a bunch of countries that got tariffs on them. There's question about how the reciprocalness of these tariffs were calculated, right? So it's not I guess it's not a really straightforward calculation. I don't know. We got to look into the details about how that works. See. Yeah, some people are complaining that there are no tariffs on Russia. And there are tariffs on islands that only penguins live on. So
I did hear that soundbite somewhere. It's just penguins and whales or something.
Yeah, that's a list. Penguins, no Russia. It's a list.
No Russia, stop.
No, right. It's a hoax. Witch hunt. Yeah. So yeah,
where are you looking this up, Tom?
Well, I'm not yet. Those are just things that kind of hit my feed. I got out.
Oh, you're putting down notes.
Yeah, I'm just putting down some notes of what I saw this morning in bed. I looked at a couple of posts from Craig O'Dear. Craig O'Dear's the guy I look at on Facebook quite a bit just to keep up with the news. He posts about seven or eight times a day. And
is this like a media head or a buddy of yours?
Well, he ran for the U.S. Senate a few cycles ago as an independent. It was back when Claire McCaskill and maybe even Jason Kander were running, and he ran as an independent. I don't quite remember who. Anyway, my son was going to UMKC, and he met Craig O'Dear's daughter, and then we also knew that he was running for president. So, followed him up on Facebook and have some conversations with him every once in a while. But he's good. He's a lawyer up in the Kansas City area and posts politically several times a day.
Gotcha.
So that's usually kind of where I go for my just what's happening. Craig's pretty on top of it. I don't have to go look around and just there are the bites. And those are the ones I saw this morning.
The Daily O'Dear.
The Daily O'Dear, yep. Laura will hit Heather Cox Richardson. I'll fire up Craig and kind of see what's going on there, and then if I have time, I'll hit Heather Cox Richardson.
What is that? Ground News?
Oh yeah, Ground News. Ground dot
sorry,
news.
Ground dot news.
I can't even talk. Yep. There's a lot of complaints going on with the Trump administration suing some law firms, basically. And my understanding is that they're kind of kowtowing, and people are pretty upset that they're basically being extorted, and they're donating pro bono legal services to his campaign and some odd stuff like that in order to, quote, settle. So I know there are a lot of people that are really upset about it, but I don't know the nuance or the details of that.
Oh, sounds like another day in Trumpistan.
Well, I mean, it's a different news cycle every day.
Yep. Logged into my Ground News.
I got a bunch of things that I kind of need to catch up on. The speech by Cory Booker.
Yes.
Yeah,
you got a bit to catch up on.
Yeah, I caught at the tail end of some of that, and it looked inspiring. But there's just no time in this news cycle for anything to kind of be noticed.
It's brutal.
But it seemed like it was compelling. I mean, while I was talking to you,
what I've heard
is like some of these conversations are starting to feel kind of real.
Yeah, that's kind of the sentiment that I've heard with that speech. Did he legitimately talk for 24 hours?
Yeah, they're talking all about, I guess, Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was the previous kind of record holder for 24 hours.
Speaking against civil rights, if
yes,
I
exactly.
heard correctly.
Yeah, I think that's right. Because that was one of the final points that Cory Booker made, was that, you know, he was proud to have stood up and broken the record, and especially when the last person who held it, you know, was arguing against civil rights, and he's like, you know, I'm here despite that filibuster, right? You know,
what?
I think it was pretty good.
What? I would really love to hear what arguments were made against civil rights, especially one so passionate to have held the record for being the longest. We have to look up some of the content, like what merits was whoever this guy making even. Like, are American values, like, what words were even being used for this?
That's a legit question. Let's chat GPT it and see what chat GPT says.
Yeah, let's get the transcript from the previous filibuster record.
What was Strom Thurmond's argument in his famous filibuster civil rights? All right. His
survey says,
24-hour filibuster against civil rights, the longest filibuster in U.S. Senate history. It was more of a performance of resistance than a coherent argument. His central argument was rooted in preserving segregation and states' rights.
God, all right, there it is.
And we have this movement back towards states' rights, so we should be back to these arguments soon.
Can we get some quotes from it?
I guess he read from a lot of books, like children's books and things like that.
Of course, naturally.
And then claimed the federal government had no constitutional authority. Oh, so-called. He was using the so-called language then. This so-called civil rights program is unconstitutional. I'm so happy that so-called is still the soup du jour.
So-called journalists.
Oh, right. Everything is so-called. The so-called vaccine. Nah, ChatGPT didn't give me anything great. So-called.
All right, we're going to think. So-called artificial intelligence.
They didn't say anything about a chainsaw. No Sig Heils. It's downright boring.
What was the fine fella's name again?
Strom Thurmond. S-T-R-O-M. Thurmond. Big racist, if I remember right. I mean, obviously he was arguing against the civil rights, but my understanding is, like, he's got history. Like, it's ugly history, I think. Let's see his Wikipedia.
Ooh, I think you have the official record here.
On Strom, how did you hit his Wikipedia?
Well, I think I have, like, record of that, like, session. Proceedings and Debate of the 85th Congress, First Session, Volume 103, Part 12, August 22nd, 1957.
Good call. You went straight to it.
To August 30th, 1957. Unfortunately, it is not in text. It is a photo scan.
Shit. Surely that's been converted in some way, shape, or form.
Certainly. Has to.
Where'd you find it? So, what session was that? Here, wait. Let's see if ChatGPT can just do that for me.
Just sent you the PDF. The cover page will give you the deets.
Oh, look at those fonts. That's cool.
I know. It's it's quite wild to see this.
Well, did you know? So one time I got really interested in old New York Times. So I looked up the images of the day the Titanic went under. You can see the original print and all that kind of stuff, and see all the context, because there's a lot of political arguments in it as well at the time. So you can see this thing about that Titanic, and then you see this other political stuff. It's actually kind of interesting to see those rags.
You're right. I bet that is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you get this literally this snapshot of what, life was like at the time.
Right. Because, I mean, right now it's... Oh. Wait, did that audio not come through?
I cut something, yep.
No.
I heard you sigh, though. I can't read this, Mike. This is too small. Ugh, yeah.
Tom, you remember that topic for Vent Surf? The whole bit rot concept?
No, bring it back up.
I will do a horrible job.
Oh.
Doing it justice, but the whole thing of, can you imagine 500 years from now, let alone 1,000, 2,000 or more, trying to pull up, Word documents from Windows 95, just in the same way, we're trying to... This was not readily available whatsoever, right? We just searched for it. Like, there's no great transcript of this.
Yeah.
Not that,
what a fantastic thought. You're right.
Yeah. So
is there an effort to preserve the translators of the software in a way that will be interpretable
at least,
in the future?
Well, I hope so. So the Vent Surf is, I believe, referred to as, godfather of the internet, not to be confused with, what's his butt? I can't remember. I kept missing the joke there even. Whatever. What the freak? Not Bob Dole.
Al.
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
There we go.
Yeah.
So he's known as the godfather of the internet, not to be confused with Al Gore or anything like that. So I heard Vent Surf talk at a search engine marketing conference, and nobody, these search engine nerds, didn't give a rip about this guy talking this presentation. I'm like, shut up!
Cow.
What? And he was talking about this topic of bit rot, and since I heard that, I've not been able to stop thinking about it. And at the time, he was talking about his work on interplanetary protocol. So I believe, TCP/IP was some of his work, if I'm not poorly citing it.
It's Bill. Well, who is this guy? Vent Surf. You said Vent Surf, and how do I not know who Vent Surf is?
Vent Surf. VINTCERF. Vent Surf.
Vinton Gray Surf. I see. Vent Surf. What's his name? Okay.
One of
he's the real deal.
Of the internet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the real deal. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, he made the internet. Yeah.
Yep. So he was talking about this. This would have been, I guess, 2008, 9 kind of thing. That he was giving this talk. So yeah, I mean, it's serious stuff. I don't know where he's at on it or what, but yep.
Yeah, but
so here we are. Yeah, trying to get this.
That it was some real effort, or that people were making effort into making things happen, or because I've thought about this a few times. I mean, not deeply, but yeah, of course, this is a concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I reckon he's probably got some serious efforts going on. It's worth digging into, I suppose.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating to think about, too.
Yep. Yeah, all right, I'm going to try and see if we can get this damn thing converted here.
Oh, hey, test this real quick. Do you hear this? If I play... Do you hear that? Oh, God damn.
I hear it.
The music?
Oh, yes, I could hear the music, yep.
Oh, okay, you hear it, but I don't. Okay. I was trying to see if I couldn't route my stuff out to this. So I also need to then route that to my headphones. I've learned some interesting tools for audio routing.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
Black
hole is a big part of it, and then it was Yachty something or else or other, or Yaney.
Lil Yachty?
Maybe that's what it is.
Route the audio.
Audiocast. Okay, so this is audiocast, so then I can take that to my headphones. Oh, I hear it now too. Cool. Yes, I hear it now too. Good. That did not change anything for you, correct? Huh. Do you hear? Is it loud now, or is it kind of quiet?
No, it's quiet. I'm wondering if that's just not, the live processing just being poor. I bet it sounds normal on the actual production.
Let's turn it up here.
Whoa! Now it's a lot louder.
It's kind of quiet. It's nominal.
I can clearly hear it now, whereas it was probably 25% before.
Is this a comfortable level right here, or is it too quiet?
It's a good level. Yeah.
So if I were to play a video in the background, if I wanted to pull something up on YouTube, what volume would you want it at? Like this?
No, you'd want to take it down by at least 50%.
Okay, around here.
Are you and are you saying you want to kind of be able to be heard with the video?
Not necessarily, but it's me being able to hear it here too. So for me, it's very quiet. If I set that level. So I just wanted to kind of know what I should expect to hear compared to what you're hearing.
If you wanted me to hear the video, then where you were previously at was good. But if you were wanting to be heard in tandem with the video, where you're at now is better.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right, yeah, so this is good stuff. I should turn that up for myself. Good shit.
God, Tom, you're going to demonetize us now.
Oh, yeah, no, I probably did just fuck it, didn't I?
Wait, so similarly, can you hear this then?
Nothing yet.
Nothing? Not
yet. And I set my Mac mic to the Rodecaster video secondary. I don't know what you'll have.
How about this? You don't hear anything? Oh, I know why. Hang on.
I don't even hear you anymore. I think you're muted. Test.
I think I've been muted for a little while.
Yeah. Test.
God dang it.
Test.
That's fun.
Test.
We'll have fun editing this one.
Well, even if we just get a couple of bites out of it, I think it's just fun.
Oh, we'll get some bites.
I can't believe I learned about Vint Cerf, and I didn't know anything about Vint Cerf.
I've told you about him. You probably just don't remember the name.
Oh, definitely.
Even though it's the coolest name in the world.
It's
Vint
short
Cerf.
for Vinton. Vinton Gray Surf.
Dude is an all-around badass. That's all there is to it. Tom, see if you can find some PDF to text thing.
That's what I was looking for.
It's hard to do things in pod.
Well, the nice thing is that you can, I guess, hopefully just cut out a lot of the dead space.
Yeah, it even has the recognizer on there. But it's still, there's something to the mental aspect of it.
Yeah, so obviously, we can roll a bit more if we have, kind of pre-thought. For me, anyway, it requires a bit more pre-thought to have some things kind of warmed up.
Mm-hmm.
Before I roll.
That's why we need a damn producer.
Kendra can do everything.
She can. We just got to give her the direction. And, she got to practice a bunch.
Oh, I'll be super curious to see what DaVinci does with this video, too. And I know Riverside's great, but I'm really kind of curious to see what DaVinci can do.
Oh. As far as, the quality enhancements and such,
Yeah.
or does it have like smart editing capabilities and like figuring
I think
out
so, yeah.
dead space and shit?
That's what I'd like to see.
Ooh, didn't know it had that kind of ability.
Because I know some of just the timeline editors and all that stuff are pretty nice.
Right.
I hate all these PDF converters online that just suck.
Well, they're all
We
just
need
nasty.
We need OCR to text. Fuck. Here.
Just freaking put in your
I
credit
was gonna
card to
test
use this
ChatGPT.
freeware. ChatGPT, though, it is not. It's not very impressive with abilities.
With the OCR?
Well, at least I've given it, video and said, "Give me, transcribe the text." I can't do that. Can't do that, Mike.
Oh, Wikisource offers a transcription of his speech.
Whoa!
Officially. Wikisource.
You got it?
That's what it says. It says they've got a Yep, there it is.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
yes.
I think so. Just confirming this is the one. Yep, Strom Thurmond filibuster. Yeah.
Here we go. Now we're in action. Now GPT will be off to the races.
Yeah. Here, let's make a ChatGPT bot out of it. What do we call those? ChatGPT. When you create your own thingadude.
It's just a custom GPT.
Custom. Are you making one?
For what?
For that speech.
Well, you don't need to. We just only need
No,
that
I
if
like
it's private.
Say again.
I really only do custom GPT if I'm doing private stuff.
Oh. Well, what do you do if you want a loaded resource up like this and like have it be the base of your content? That's kind of what
I just open like 4.0. I open 4.0 and then give your prompt the document.
Oh, I always think that it runs into limits on like words, and that if you do a custom GPT, that it'll do more of the body rather than. Cause my understanding and my thought is that if you just load all that text in the front end, is that I think it overruns the buffer and it doesn't keep the full document in context. Now I could be wrong about that. That's my current thought.
Me too. It probably changed yesterday.
Oh, it's so hard to know.
They also have a new thing that I saw recently was projects. And so
Projects?
If what you are saying is remotely true, projects must be the thing that solves that problem.
Oh,
because
I do see projects.
You can upload documents and basically it retains that in its memory buffer. That's kind of the whole point. And you can keep adding like new chats with, the context of the project.
Oh, I think this is exactly probably what I thought the other was then.
Right.
It was at least what I was hoping. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking it was doing. Okay. Well, this is good then.
They're both similar things, I suppose.
Yeah, but this sounds like it's more geared toward what I guess I was thinking.
A little bit more transactional.
Yeah. Yeah. I want the content that I load to be like the core topic of the whole thing. I don't want it using a bunch of internet data. I want it to analyze this document. I want to get sentiment analysis out of it. I want to get all the good stuff and be focused on this thing.
Word.
That's good.
Although I have seen, because I started using the projects quite a bit, I'm like, this is cool. And now I don't know how to get to anything but the first 4 projects. The other ones just keep disappearing. Like, I don't know how to get... I've clicked a couple of buttons, I don't see it, and haven't cared enough to click more buttons, but...
Why is my save folder like this now? I don't have desktop as a shortcut anymore. Hey, what are you reading right now?
I am reading The Marriage Project.
Think about it.
Which is weird you would even ask me at the time I'm actually reading something, because it's been a long time since I've read something. And Shauna thought I would really like it. And so the last book she said that about, I really loved. And it kicked off reading for me a lot. So I'm excited. I just started ripping into it. I'm like 80 pages in, which takes me like 3 weeks. But so far it's pretty cool. I do a horrible job at giving a synopsis, but so far this takes place in a not so distant future from our own, where there's a social project going on. I think it's taking place in like Britain or something, maybe. There's a social project going on that the government is sponsoring, that if you get married and you go into basically this marriage project, basically saying we're going to be this happy couple and live together and not get divorced. And by the way, we're also going to allow you to record audio of us 24/7. And if there is ever any issues, or you perceive that there may be any issues, you can intervene in our marriage to make sure that everything's on track and that we're good and stay together. In return, you also get a bunch of financial assistance. So they'll take care of your health insurance. I think you get maybe even like a stipend. And yeah, it's pretty interesting so far.
It
and
sounds
so
actually really interesting.
Yeah, each chapter so far is just kind of introducing, different characters and revisiting a few same ones so far. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm digging it.
When was the book written?
I think it's pretty new.
Really?
Hopefully,
What's
I got the title right.
The Marriage Project.
I think it's
21
The Marriage
Days.
Project. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that was the title. This is highly embarrassing. I can't find the freaking. Hang on.
Did you get the title wrong?
I have to have. Maybe it was Marriage Act.
Well, the Marriage Act. Oh. Break your vows, pay the price. The Marriage Act.
Yeah, that's it. Damn it. Okay.
That sucks. Because that was such a good...
Here. Well, no. We'll do a good edit here. I'm reading this book called...
We'll leave that part out. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get the audio bit. So, reading this book called The Marriage Act. There. We can use that later. But yeah, otherwise we'll I'll do the Mark clip here. We edited it. We'll easily be able to fix that.
Marriage Act.
The rest of it. Yeah. The Marriage Act.
Marriage.
What'd I say? Project.
Yep.
Yes, the Marriage Act.
Well, I kept looking for it. It was like, I'm interested in seeing the synopsis of this, but I can't find it.
Project Act. Come on. The Alan Parsons Project.
I've got this Rode microphone over here, but it's so big, Mike. It's a great microphone. I mean, you got some really great equipment. But it's right in the middle of everything, so I'm constantly kind of looking around in here.
So I've got this. I'm using this mic. And it kills me. So I have to cock it off to an angle because I can't stand it being flush, just center line of sight. I can't.
Yeah, this is too much. I mean, this is really interesting stuff, but there's equipment all around.
It's tough. Yeah. It
feels claustrophobic. It's like you're in a cockpit kind of a thing, right? It's like I climb into the thing and I'm ready to go.
I have had the exact same thought and visual. And so a lot of time has been spent figuring out how to de-claustrophobize it.
I see.
Because I've had the same damn feeling. And feeling too boxed in, it's brutal. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That makes sense. You've got a super nice space now.
Working on it. It's always evolving.
I like your background there too.
Oh yeah. Slowly coming along. But it's got to be one of my favorite things, though, is just continually evolving a space in just the tiniest amounts. It's just so fun.
Constant nesting a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. A constant nest. That's why men hunt and women nest. Ooh! Hiss. The description, the near future. Look at this! It's as if I freaking read the description of it. The near future. A right-wing government believes it has the answer to society's ills. The Sanctity of Marriage Act, which actively encourage marriage as the norm, punishing those who choose to remain single. But 4 couples are about to discover just how impossible relationships can be when the government is monitoring every aspect of our personal lives, monitoring every word, every minor disagreement, and will use every tool in its arsenal to ensure everyone will love, honor, and obey. Man, I didn't even know it was getting that thick. It's setting up quite nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic what this political environment over these last few years is inspiring. This is some really good literature.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're finding inspiration.
There's no better time to figure out how to read books, yo. Read a book, bitch.
It does, so these last, 8 weeks? How long are we into this thing? 2 months?
Good Lord. Well, we're just about at 100 days, I suppose, so.
Really? Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, it's April 3rd.
It's January 21st, though, right? So January 21st to now? So
yeah, okay. I thought it was earlier. Yep. Oh, it feels so much longer. Holy
It feels like 2 years already. So when people talk about waiting for the midterms, I just don't have any... I guess I don't have any way to think that that's a waitable thing. I don't know. It seems like that's 10 years from now.
Yeah. It does, it seems impossibly far off.
With the rate of how things are going, right? So, I mean, things are going so fast right now, and it just feels like you're being overrun.
Yeah. And this has to be unprecedented, right? As far as the rate with which they are succeeding at making just utter chaos of things. I don't think anything's ever been experienced this aggressive, has it?
Well, the last thing that I know of is that everybody always compares this to, right, the fall of Germany, and they had a benchmark of some 57 days, I think, was when something started, and then kind of officially was the new norm. So I don't know. That's what they compare it to. I feel like it's a new norm every day. Yeah.
We've I don't think we have had like a true, like, honest, candid, like, sober conversation, or rather sobering conversation with a real Trumper.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
I still really want that. Because beyond the flare, beyond the orange dust and all of it, there has to be some level that we can have a real conversation, right? Other than just the horse shit, to truly try and get a beat on this. Like that bit that I sent on the radio this morning, right? The caller in just called in to say, quite simply and emphatically, hey, I just called to call in and just want to say, if the Democrats are upset, I know Trump's doing something right. I just called in to say that. That was it.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it is the benchmark, but beyond that, because there is conversation beyond that, right? That's, I get it, right? They're all having fun and like still celebrating, like after their freaking sports team won or something. Like, I get it. I understand that side of it. But God, once you talk past that, are they like truly think this is cool and okay?
So I've got a buddy that I was in the Marine Corps with, and I like this guy a lot. But I think he's a pretty hardcore Trumper. I say hardcore. He's fully in, but I don't know that he's Trump a little outrageous or MAGA or whatever. I don't know. Not. How do you describe people like this? Where he's not, I don't think, out there raging with the flags and doing all that kind of stuff, but he's towing the line solid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's a difference.
There is a difference. Yeah, because like the radio listener I just described, like I just generally refer to that as MAGA. Like that is just Trumpistan, right? And then there's what you're explaining, where they whatever. I think what you're explaining anyways, of they voted for Trump, they support him, and they're generally have good things to say and have reasonable tone when they're conversing. They're not just flagrant and just insane. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, I don't have a term for them. I don't, but you're right. There's a difference.
I have some people that I talk to that, you know me, so I have conversations and I'm pretty pointed. I've gotten to the point where I think I'm just going to say what I think is wrong and put it out there without trying to kind of soften it or think about nuance, because I think it hides the meaning that you're trying to describe. So anyways, I'm pretty pointed recently, and I know people think that's really hostile. But a lot of times I've got some people that come back and simply, it doesn't make a difference what I say or how neutral it is or anything like that. You're only coming on here when you're seeing a message you don't like or whatever. And I say, well, really, I'm only on here every time I see something that I think is propaganda, right? I think that's propagandistic. Here's what I think is wrong with that. What do you think? And, I get the, what do you know? Do you ever even face the facts and all that kind of stuff? But I do have other people that, yes, will simply say, I don't give a shit about Ukraine, right? I'm not necessarily MAGA, and I'm not saying all the MAGA stuff, but it's like, I really don't give a shit about Ukraine. Dems are stupid, but maybe that doesn't even describe it either. Maybe that is MAGA. Fuck, I don't know. He seems more reasonable.
Yeah. I just want to talk.
Trying to be super charitable. I don't know. I've got a couple of people that I occasionally hit online. I don't know. I'd really be curious to hit Bobby. I have to cut that out. I'd be really curious to hit Bobby Vickers up, because I think that he leans right, but he's also pretty measured. He's also pretty measured, but I'm pretty sure he's full right.
I'm going to text him.
I could be wrong.
No, I mean, I think he's generally right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he lives in Texas, for God's sake. Come on.
Yeah.
I guess we live in Missouri. I mean, what the hell are we saying?
But no, I think he's super measured in his conversation.
Of course, yeah. He'd be great to talk to because, I think he generally supports Trump and is also a very reasonable person and pleasant entirely to speak with. See if he's around.
Hell, I mean, Craig O'Dear's probably on. Not that he's right wing, but he could probably attract some people that might be interested in engaging. I know that he has contacts with quite a bit more politically connected people.
Send a message. Let's see if we can get a panel going.
Send a message to Craig. He's probably online. All right, that's Craig. I'd really like to talk to Mike Stelzer sometime and hear his story. But he obviously is left-leaning right now. But I tell you the truth, I would love to talk with him sometime.
Same here.
I can see this platform being great for that. I mean,
same.
I'd want to meet for coffee. This is the same kind of thing. We could meet here and this be a coffee session. You know what I mean? I want to know what got him. I want to know what got Michael inspired, because I look up to him quite a bit. He's a good man, and I always assumed that he was a little bit more right leaning, but I don't know. Maybe that was just because I didn't know him.
Just because he's pretty gruff.
Yeah, he's yeah.
He works with his hands.
He works with his hands, right?
He's a right winger.
But obviously he's brilliant too, though. So he's known for his creativity. Well.
I don't know much about the guy, but I have seen a bit of his artwork, and it's freaking awesome.
It is awesome.
I want to do what he does. That is my life
exactly.
goal.
I remember when he started taking welding classes. I think it was maybe at OTC. He was just kind of starting getting into the metalworking, and then obviously it's amazing work now.
Yeah, no kidding. He hooked us up with the Bobby's
Bobby.
in the house.
What?
Hey guys, how we doing?
How are you, man?
So good. But Bobby, what do you think of this? We are desperate, and the whole point of the show, obviously, is to talk with people of differing opinions than us. And we've had one guest on. He was the former Speaker of the House in Missouri. He was we've only ever had two guests. He was our first. And then the second was the Unitarian Universalist Church. We had them on, and that was an amazing conversation, definitely. But we were kind of right along there with them, so there weren't too many dissenting lines, to really jump into there. So we we were sitting here. We're like, let's just get on tonight and just record something on our own. We'll get some sound bites, whatever the hell, just have something. And we were sitting in here going, damn it! No, we want to talk to people. And so wanted to see if you were down, but wanted to, even if before we even go anywhere, you're you're generally a Trump supporter. Yeah. I'm not wrong in that.
Man,
are we talking to even the right person? Do we have dissenting lines?
Yeah. So I think I'm okay with being and supporting a contrarian from a let's say policy perspective. I think morally, I would never look as a president as being like a North Star for me. Like I would never model myself after I want to be like JFK. He was a philanderer and a terrible human.
Yeah.
There are lots of those things. So I think when people say Trump supporter, they build this all-encompassing view of a person. And the first thing that they latch onto is like the thing they dislike the most. And then they associate that person with that thing when that might not even be the thing.
Do you know the name of our show? You're preaching to the choir. Like, we get this.
Yeah. So here's the thing. And I've always said this, and most people don't think this way, and Tom and I talked about this a little bit. Like, I think whoever's in office, you still have to focus on what you do in your household. I think so many things happen outside of your control that if you just take care of what you can control, do the best that you can do, like you're going to go a certain direction, right? If you sit back and wait or want to blame, you can always find somebody else to blame. You can always look at a policy. There's always something that you can point to, and that be the cause of some reason in your life that you're not where you want to be. So for me, I'm just always like inward looking in that I'll do the best that I can, while politicians, that's their job. So I would say that, again, I wouldn't want to raise my children to be like Donald Trump. I wouldn't want my sons to grow up to be like him as a person. But from a policy perspective, and I don't know a lot about policy. I've never studied graduate school. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm okay with somebody doing something different, because really America is built on doing things differently. Technology, innovation, exploration, all of that has just been doing something different than the status quo. So I'm okay with that. So that's probably where I lie. I don't hate people like anybody.
Good. Good.
So I'm just okay with somebody being a contrarian.
Cool. So we should talk. Cause and this is a really easy thing for me. Like, I hate Donald Trump with every fiber of my being, which is a really weird thing to say because I don't really hate anything. And so it's so I can separate from the actual emotion from that. Yeah. Because I just think he's abhorrent, right? And so it's very easy for me to step outside of that because I've been so unattached from that emotion for many years now. And what I truly want to do, and I mean truly, is I want to talk to people who policy-wise, perfect. Policy-wise, have alignment with him. And I really want to talk about that because just like you said, I don't fucking know policy. I'm not a lawyer. My God, I spend all my time just doing technology stuff. That's really all I know in life. But I'm also not stupid, right? And I know how to recognize things and see patterns and just have a general understanding of systems. And I can't look around and not see utter stupidity and insanity and what the fuck is going on. And I'm ready to be convinced that settle down, Mike. Here's why. Here's what you need to know. And I truly cannot find anybody to engage in that kind of conversation.
And that's what Tom and I have been searching for so long. And that's kind of the whole idea of the show is like, outside of the rhetoric, set that shit aside, right? Because like left wing, right wing, we get it. This dance is as old as time itself. Let's do away with that and like just talk real. Are tariffs good? Let's talk about it.
Well, let me
Tom, go for it.
Let me jump in real quick because I think this is the point that I think I'm interested in with Bobby too. Because Mike, you're talking about being and kind of feeling unmoored, right? I mean, like things are so tumultuous and so abnormal, and the division is so strong that it feels like, I mean, you feel unmoored, like this world can't be normal, right? I mean, is this normal? Like, is this good? And probably a lot of angst. Am I characterizing that correctly?
To a certain extent. I don't know that angst would be a totally accurate word. And I think the unmoored is probably more just from personal settling down over the past few years for me, and just like being able to just separate more from like reactionary type things. But you're not wrong either, because to the point of like, I can't help but look around and go, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because like this is too insane.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly the feeling, is that things seem so abnormal that it's fear for what is likely to come, because it seems like these are untested waters, and that we really don't know how catastrophic this kind of thing could be. And then Bobby, when you say something like, I focus on me, you seem unperturbed. And I guess maybe that's the question is, are you perturbed? Are you concerned? How do you deal with your level of concern, right? It's more about a view of the nation, and you may not know or may not care,
or think there's any concern. Like,
exactly. You may not even,
because you're a certain, yes, right.
Yeah. So I don't think anything is new, right? I think whatever wave that is being ridden will go up and will come down. I think economics is a pendulum. I think society is a pendulum. There are times that have been better. There are times that have been worse. If you would ask yourself, would you rather be alive now or 200 years ago? Nobody would say 200 years ago. But 200 years ago, it was the worst that it could have ever been, right? Supposedly. So I think no matter what stage you find yourself in, I just think it's hard to like think that it's that bad. Because in the grand scheme of things, like, you have no idea what it was like 100 years ago. Like so and then the other thing too is like, it's interesting, Mike, that the first thing you said was how much you hate this person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you come from like this like guttural place where I don't hate.
Yes. Visceral.
Yeah, like visceral hate. And I would be curious, like, what is it about somebody that makes you hate them? And then how do those character traits show up in other places? And do you feel the same level of hate towards those people? Because I just don't know what it is.
No, that's perfect, because I don't know if you remember what I said right after that. Is I said, which is very weird for me because I don't hate anything. Was what I said right after that. So yes, it has been a thing that I've spent years and years thinking about and analyzing and truly wondering where that feeling comes from. And I've figured it out. I truly believe that Donald Trump is perhaps one of the most immoral people to grace planet Earth. And like, I don't mean that hyperbolic or I like, we can go there, but I just want to say, like, it would be hard to figure out where to even begin. And I can pick a starting point. But like, what I'm not going to do is say like this and that and this and, grab by the pussy and, I'm not going to like rattle them off. But I mean, if you are genuinely curious in that question, we can go there.
Yeah. So if it's like, if it's adultery, like,
like not even. I'm not even talking that simple. Nope, not even that simple.
Yeah.
So here's one thing that gets me the most, and this is like the one that always comes to mind, is that visceralness, which I spoke when I said like I hate him with every ounce of my being, is because that to me is how he comes off most times when I see him speaking, particularly like against anything or anyone. Not when he's having a jolly time and, whatever. But this man, like, truly spews hatred. Like, you can see it in the way he talks about things that he doesn't like. And you could say, like, well, what bit? And, like, if we want, I can superimpose here, like, at least 600 sound bites of what I'm referring to. Like, if you ask, like, what are you talking about? So, like, we can pause there and say, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Or would you, like, truly be like, no, he's not spiteful in his, like, tone or facial, like...
I think all of that is true, right? You've seen him, like, when somebody asks him a question he doesn't like, he's dismissive, disrespectful. I've seen him mock different types of people in response to that. Yeah. I've documented.
So,
right?
So that's like... I would say that's like, so when you ask me, like, that would be the first thing, because that's the one that always bubbles up, is like kind of a physical feeling of like,
that injustice.
I trust my intuition of people, and like I feel a pretty keen intuition of people, and like that is the epitome of what I distrust most in life. And like you said earlier, not who I'd want my son to be, not who I'd want my daughters to be around, certainly not anyone I'd like to leave my wife in company of, and certainly not somebody I'd be proud to be like hanging around or seen hanging around, like all of those things. So that's number one. That's tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. So
tip of the iceberg.
So bully behavior kind of 101, honestly. Like that's because that's a bully thing, right? Anything that's different than you.
It's more than that though. So it's one thing. Here's the nuance, I think, is because it's not just bully behavior, because I can see somebody who is a bully and say they are a terrible person. This is different because this is somebody who is using that influence that they have to inspire that and to normalize that in others. I think that's more.
But isn't that what everyone does that's in a position of power? Is they try to normalize their worldview for everyone else?
Hang on.
Sure.
Hang on. Before we go anywhere, do we want to allow whataboutisms? And that's a question for all of us. Like, do we want to allow isn't that what they all do? Do we want to allow that kind of sidetracking?
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good.
I hate that sidetracking
because it is a whataboutism.
Yeah.
Well, and again,
so we're talking about Donald Trump. We are talking about Donald Trump.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that everything you're saying that's true, right? I don't think anybody that's a thinking person could try to say and justify any of that. Like, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yep. So to the point of why I think he's like that's point one, and I don't like. I have more points, but maybe let's talk about the level of that, because to the whataboutism point, you're correct. That, I mean, these are character traits of every politician and every psychopathic CEO, out there, and power, whatever. Like, so these are not uncommon traits, but the thing that is new here is a couple of things. One, the level and just emboldened behavior in with which it's happening. And two, a total lack of concern about it, not just from the electorate, but also from the politicians. There's always kind of been this holding boundary of, politicians doing their politician thing. And I get it, like politics, right? But I think that's the reason this is so alarming, is now we've got outside private life influencing public policy now with stuff, right? So it's just this like instantaneous explosion of everything happening at once. And I don't think we would disagree with that, right? Like this is a very potent time, right?
I mean, you could say that, sure.
Well, it's rich with activity, right?
Yeah.
Change, new. I mean, like it's all. I mean, Republicans are winning left and right, right? Like, I mean, this is all new. I mean, people buying social networks and then being in charge of massive. This is all new. This is all new territory, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's not new. No, it's a new medium. No? It's a new medium. Who do you think? I mean, so I think you could go back and look and say who used to own all the newspapers, and I would say that those are probably concentrated to a few people.
I don't want to hyper focus on just that one thing, like who owns. Like I'm just saying,
but what I'm saying,
everything. Like it's
the medium is new. The messages aren't new.
No, not the messages. No, I mean messages aren't new, but the rate at which things are being changed is new.
Technology, right? Sure. Things can happen faster now. They can reach further. They can go faster. Yeah,
sorry, I think I got off track a little bit. No, I think I got off track a little bit. So Doge, right? Doge coming in, ripping out, close that, cut that, fire them, close that, ship these people over there. Like,
yeah,
that rate is all new, right?
So here's a question that I would ask because I don't know the answer. What about that is new? Are you talking about eliminating federal jobs? Because what you're saying is
within like 3 days. Within like 3 days. That's the rate is what I'm talking about here. Speed.
But what are you comparing it to?
Like any other time in history of any other thing like this happening.
Okay.
Quickly.
But see, that's a blanket statement with nothing to support it. So in what period of time and how many changes and what are you comparing it to? Because I just don't know what the baseline is. So you're saying that these things are happening fast compared to what? Compared to when? And how fast should they go? And then who's the arbiter of fast?
I'll give you all those details right now. So the rate of time, we'll say 2 months. So 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So we'll say 8 weeks. And then we'll say
are we doing any
other point in Nope. We'll say within any other point in history. So from now until any other point in recorded history. I kind of lose track of the years of the AD, BC, whatever. In recorded history, has there ever been a president that came in with an unappointed official and shut down even one government agency or fired even one government employee, have hired media talent as their cabinet, even maybe more than one of that ever happening in history and time. Let me keep going. I'll keep thinking.
Who normally is in charge of making HR decisions for government offices? Because again, I'm not a politician. I don't know who normally decides who stays and goes. Is that typically an annual review process? Is it biannual? Is it a committee?
I don't know either, but to the best of my knowledge, when new administrations come in, there's not wholesale shutdowns with unknown people. And I'll tell you the truth. I honestly don't care about the whole Elon stuff all that much. I mean, I do, don't get me wrong, but I'm not hyper fixating on it because I think it'll end soon enough, the whole thing, and like whatever. So I'm not whatever. But the thing that is most grating to me with the Elon thing, and I'd be willing, even for the sake of this conversation, to cede everything else Doge has done for just this one angle of the conversation. because it's the thing that the only thing I think about, it's the only thing I care about, is if the shoe were on the other foot. That's what I can't stop thinking about, is the hypocrisy, right? Like, if Biden were doing this, if Kamala Harris were doing this, there's no way in which the conservative media would not be shitting their collective pants. Instead, when I tune in to my daily conservative radio listen, I hear nothing but like the ultimate gymnastics of bending over backwards to give, grace and time and credit, to this. And like, media is going to do what media is going to do. I get it. But like, this is what I'm referring to, though, that it's at a new level of like, they've always been hypocrites, but like, this is so, I can't believe everyone around me is this gullible. What is happening? Am I the one that's crazy here? Help me out, Bobby.
I think things take time. I mean, I get that, and I'm not justifying anything because I don't know enough information to justify, and I'm not really clear on your issue. The issue is that
you're doing it. You're actually doing it right now. So my issue is this: if it were Biden or Kamala that was doing as big of gestures as bringing in, I don't know, George Soros, and like just put him unofficially in charge of gutting, all these churches and whatever, like, right-wing media would be going insane, right? But what I hear instead when I listen to right-wing media is we got to give this time. We don't really know. We got to check this out. But if we're the other situation, it would be mass hysteria, and that's what I'm trying to like check within myself. Is like,
yeah,
what's going on? Like,
I'm probably not your guy, because I wouldn't have mass hysteria one way or the other.
You may not be the guy, though. You're right. You may not be.
It's too far. Like, so for example, I'm trying to think of something like the Affordable Care Act. It didn't bother me. I don't.
Yeah, that's a good
example. The DEI, the transgenderism from Biden's Obamacare, gay marriage, all of that stuff. Like, I'm not that. And it's hard for me to say that.
Hang on. I hear you. I hear you. You're right. You're more akin to like us, like where it's just like, you can give a fucking. But let me ask you this: do you think then if the shoe were kind of on the other foot here, right? If Kamala had won the election and, like I said, plopped in George Soros in there, and he's cutting off church funding and, like, whatever, bringing back Planned Parenthood and, whatever.
That stuff happens anyway.
No. But do you agree that the people who do react to this, so like the right-wing media sphere, would they be blowing their lid?
They would. That's their job. Mm-hmm. Their job is to cater to their base. Just like left-wing media talks about how bad it is to save money, and the right-wing media talks about how bad it is to have one boy and girl sport.
Go, bring it on, Tom.
Yeah, well, I want to throw a line on this because, and Bob, we've conversed a little bit before, because what Mike is bringing up is that you seem, in my mind, you seem very separated from severity, right? For you, it's normal cycle, normal things. Yep, this is life. Focused on self, but it seems magnitude is not something that is a concern for you, and I think that's what is a concern for us. And that I desperately want to kind of get to that point where I can understand what is your magnitude, what is your feeling about the magnitude of the shifts, and I'll point it this way.
I can answer that for you whenever you're ready.
Well, 1 second though, because for me it gets down to rule of law, right? At the end of the day. I want to be living in a country that has a standard that we can all live by. And at the end, that's all there is to it. We have to have rule of law at a foundation. So what tells me there's a magnitude shift is that there's an injunction that a judge can put on executive action. right? These universal injunctions. And, over the last several years, I mean, I think Obama had 12 injunctions against him over his 8 years.
Okay.
Bush had some whatever. And right now there are 17 injunctions against Trump's executive actions.
That is good information. Like that is real. Like this is what it was.
Yeah, that's
there.
what I thought. I thought you'd
here.
be interested in something measurable. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens when those come into play? Do they just reverse whatever the executive order was, and that's the end of it, or do they countersue? I don't know the legal system, but what happens? What's the outcome?
Yeah. So there's a little complex, and I'll illustrate what I think I know, because there's a complaint, and there's some legitimate complaints about TROs, because I think their ability to be appealed is painful. Is what a little bit of concern is. And I think the right and really the left, anybody would have a legitimate argument of one branch of government being able to kibosh another branch of government with little recourse. But they are appealable, is my understanding. So basically, it's a judge having the ability to cause an injunction when there are not necessarily two parties who are visible. So they can basically step in and cause the halting of an executive order.
Who
to keep
raises
from
the
harming
injunction?
somebody who's an imminent. Typically, it's going to be somebody raising it to a district. Right now, it's district judges are being leveraged for this. So, so somebody will say, hey, here's a concern, here's something going on. They'll present a case to a judge, and that judge will review that information, and they can say, yep, I'm going to issue an order, and it's a temporary injunction, basically to halt that action.
I would bet that for Obama, those were in conservative areas. In Bush, they were in liberal areas. In Biden, they were in conservative areas. And with Trump, they're probably liberal areas. Because your own party is not going to raise that to that level, right? So we could easily say that the more one side pushes, the more the other side pushes back, right?
Tit for tat is a good understanding of how things are played, yeah.
Sure.
I guess, and that's exactly what I'm illustrating, is that this feels like not tit for tat. This feels like there's a legitimate attack on the legal system, on people's valuing of the legal system.
By pushing out so many executive orders that are being argued?
Well, I think the reason it's a concern is that it's questionable about whether they're constitutional, right? So it's so many executive orders that are potentially unconstitutional.
Okay.
It's a significant increase that are being challenged because of the potential unconstitutionality.
Right. And what happens in terms of time frames, and do those things get turned back around? And then once they're done, they're done? Because again, I think just in general, like if somebody does something I don't like, I can argue it, but that doesn't mean that what they did was, again, there's a moral right and then there's legal. And so if these things hold up in court, then that's kind of all there is to it. I don't know why anybody would be upset. Like, no, the law worked. Like, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
No matter what side you're on, right? Like, I think anybody that, I don't know, I just don't know that I'm your guy. So here's kind of my worldview, right? Like real simple. Like I grew up in a house where you could see the dirt floor underneath it. I had no father. I had no family. It was me, my mom, my two sisters. I was poor, dirt poor. I went to school on Pell Grants. I went to school on scholarships. I did everything myself. So I don't expect any help from the government with the Pell Grants. But like, I am self-reliant because I have to be. And because I feel like that is the way that I have control over my life, because I had no control growing up, right? Everything happened to me. I had no agency. I could do nothing. Now I can. And so what happens, and I think this is true in third world countries, I think this is true in China, I think this is true in a lot of the world, they're not worried about fighting social issues because they don't have clean water. They can't, their children are dying of this, that, and the other. And so for me, it's like, okay, so like, you want to paint some Tesla stores? Okay, the people that bought a Tesla have insurance. The people that own the buildings have insurance. Like, all you're doing is making it harder for everybody else. But if that's the way that you want to be heard, then okay, that doesn't seem like the way I would do it. And then like, okay, you want to cut budgets? Okay, you want to cut funding? You want to eliminate billions of dollars of waste? Okay, so my cousin is a GSA. She spent 25 years at the GSA. She has a master's degree from BU in mechanical engineering. She got fired because she managed buildings that the government owned that nobody went to, and she was responsible for their maintenance and efficiency. She posted on Facebook, "Hey, I got fired. Anybody got another job?" She'll get another job in the private sector because she's qualified, right? I mean, I don't feel bad for people that lose their job. I've known people that get fired. It's part of it. So cost cutting, job cutting, if it's illegal, then it'll get overturned. If it's not overturned, then it's legal and you don't like it. If you don't like it, you can't deal with it. Find something else to do or go spray paint a Tesla. I don't have an issue.
By the way, that's not the we hate talking about that stuff too. And that shit's stupid. Like,
but what is the question?
We're with you, man.
There appears to be a significant increase in the magnitude of unconstitutional activity. And the rhetoric coming from the right and from Trump and his staff is that we need to actually undermine the rule of law and calling for impeachments of these judges and the ability for them to perform these injunctions. And it seems to me that the changes that they have made in the Justice Department and in the FBI will diminish the ability for typical government agencies to not attack the judicial system.
You need them all to work.
Say that again.
I said, no, you need everything to have a counterbalance, right? If one side is too strong or one angle is, if you have no recourse, right, then I'm with you.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
I think,
and it seems to me that two sides right now are very strong together. With the legislative and the executive branch, they're pretty tight, and it seems to me that the last check on the system is the judicial branch, and we must require it to stay strong and to hold.
So what happens?
We need to support it.
Tom, I'm trying to think Armageddon here, right? So like, let's say that all of these things that they're doing are wrong, they're bad, they're tearing down the judicial system. 3.5 years, this is over. What happens then? Does it get reversed? Can it be reversed? Is it once the cake is baked, it's finished? Or are you worried that the civilization is going to just spiral into a civil war? Like what's the concern, right? So it's bad, it's not ideal. Like, yeah. So what's the end game?
Yeah, I mean, well, there are a number of things, obviously, I think that can come out of it, right? So who knows what tomorrow brings? Who knows if he doesn't decide to cancel the tariffs and it becomes no big deal, and it turns out that Canada and Mexico loved the kind of play and the tit for tat that went on there, and said, "You're actually our guy. We want to be allies again. We'll start doing joint military exercises together. Haha, that was fun, but we're still tight, brother." And Europe comes back and says, "Hey, no, we're all good. We're still tight." And then whatever, peace happens in Ukraine. That could be one result. It does not seem likely to me that's going to be the case. So it seems to me that at a minimum, we're going to have a short-term economic pain, potentially have a long-term economic pain.
What is short-term to you and what is long-term to you?
6 months to a year, it may be short-termish.
So that's shorter than the financial crisis, the last two financial crises.
Well, I would say the last few years have been painful under Biden. I mean, inflation under Biden was painful.
Hey, sorry, I want to pause. So this is the problem. Like, I can't even remember what the question was, but like when you go like, well, Armageddon, what's the worst that could happen? And then when you go off and just like this, and now we're off in the weeds. Fair enough. But I think this is the point, is like, no one knows what's going to happen. And that's the point of concern with the amplification, is like, we got through 4 years of Trump, right? And then we had 4 years of Biden. But like,
that's a good way to put it.
But like, the concern for everybody, concerned with Trump in round one was like, holy hell, like, okay, like we got through that and the world is still, wow, it's on fire, actually, literally, but Like, okay, nothing too insane happened as far as like long-term effects, right? And then we get Biden and whatever, and then it's like, surely, 4 more years of Trump is going to happen because, like, if he gets in there, all gloves are off. Like, as insane as he was the first go around, like, he's going to just not have any fucks left to give the second go around. And so forgive me for being like, wait a minute, shouldn't we be concerned about this stuff? All this stuff ramping up, and then the three of us are having a conversation and going, well, what the fuck's going to be the worst that could happen? And that, I think, is the main question. And that's the big thing of wrestling with, is we're here going like, I don't know, but something like really bad, like it could. It's not unprecedented. It has happened before in short order that things actually flipped and got really bad. And so now you've got people like me who, Bobby, I love you, but I mean, the big difference between you and I is like, I'm sitting here going, should we not be concerned even just a hair? Whereas, like this is the regular old cycle. And like, I would normally totally like agree, like normal old cycle, but it feels different. And I can't shake that feeling that something feels different. And I don't know what it is, but like, this is why like it is so perplexing to me that everyone is truly sitting here going, well, everything's normal. Like, what the fuck? No, it's not.
So part of it is if you went a week without reading the news, what would be different about your life? Nothing. If you went a month, if you went 6 months, if you went a year, Mike, and never listened to the news, you would have no idea. Your world is going to be the exact same.
Yeah. So here's the thing about hang on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with playing with time is I've actually entertained the idea of time quite deeply, right? And so when we talk about, what's a week look like? What's 6 months look like? Like the concept of time is actually something deeply profound that is causing more concern for me right now. Because I've been studying a lot of history and studying how civilizations fall and the cycles in which they fall. We are very clearly already through the gates of a major century turning point in society, culture, civilization, just how we are as a snapshot of 100-year history of humans. And like, it's what we've seen in civilizations that are the grossest, that are causing concern. I'm not saying that's where we're going, but I'm saying a lot of the same signs are there, more so than they have been since the last time some of this stuff has happened. And like, we have the benefit now of analyzing history and being a bit more thoughtful about it. And that's all we're really trying to do. And so like, even if one step is to get somebody to go, yeah, it's a little fucking crazy, like maybe a little bit more than usual, head on a swivel, yo. Like, even that's a win. But to hear people be like, nah, it's the same as usual, fucking just unplug for a week, it's fine. Like, that is where, like, I don't think there's a shared reality. And like, am I truly the crazy one? Or am I just too worked up?
Like I said, I don't think I'm your guy. My blood pressure, my resting heartbeat doesn't get that high. It's just not. It just doesn't, right? I mean, I'm just not the guy.
Let me inject a question real quick there. Do you envision, so when you ponder the shift, do you perceive a shift? Any shift whatsoever?
Perceive a shift in sentiment, in expectations,
in political objectives, goals. I mean, where the center of the our morality is, our direction.
Yeah. So I can only speak for myself, right? In my little bitty world, in my little bitty circle, and that's part of, I think, the pockets of America probably think this way. People probably perceive this differently, right? So I'm pretty rural. I'm in DFW, but it's like, it's not highly dense. It's kind of spread out. And so for me, like, my world revolves around my family's ability to do things, my business, which is construction, real estate, growth, general spending, right? All of that has moved in such a positive direction over the course of my life that even if it were to slide back 20, 30, 40%, I'd still be accepting of that, because that's still way better than where I came from, and way better than 99.9% of all people that have ever born would have. Now, I think from a morality standpoint, again, I said this in the get-go, I don't want my kid to be like any politician, just broadly speaking. I think that rhetoric on both sides, and I also think, like you said, Tom, where they're the oppositions to the executive orders, like that's real, that's happening, that's way worse, way faster, way more volume than somebody that was in office for 8 years. Like that's not good, right? The stock market was down today. The stock market is down often. It's not. I didn't look at the standard deviation to see what the standard deviation is, or even what that next level is of today. But that happens. We had a financial crisis because people got greedy, right? They had multiple mortgages. Stocks are not owned by everybody. Stocks are owned by like the top 30% of people. So when the stock market goes down, it doesn't impact everyone evenly. So it's really bad for some people. For some people, it doesn't matter. I
There's
think
some concerns for a global recession as well, legitimate concerns.
Sure. Yeah, and so like, what does a global recession mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, good question.
And I think it's different to everybody. To me, and again, I'm not. It's such a Western thing to say, right? Like, what happens in like Ireland, I honestly could give two shits about. I just don't care, because it's like they've made hundreds of years worth of choices that put them right where they are today, just like we have. So everybody's, we're little bitty dots on a map, and tons of things have happened up to today. The one decision that you make today is just, there have been thousands that led to that one moment. And so it's not that bad. Okay, I just don't get it that it's that bad. Guys, look, we are on a Zoom call at 9:00 using technology, audio, video.
Oh, absolutely. We're spoiled fucks. Yes, this is ridiculous. Of course.
You don't have to convince us of that. Like, we get it. It's good.
Life
good.
And the privilege I have. Absolutely.
I just don't think, I don't know. But see, I also wasn't somebody that when Biden or Obama was in office, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, the left is doing all of this stuff. Again, I'm not that political.
It may be different between you and I, and maybe this is the difference, because something you said about not caring about somebody in I can't remember what it was.
Ireland.
Yeah.
A fellow potato eater.
Hundreds, thousands of years of decisions have left them where they are. And I do think this seems to me where maybe some of the differences. I am deeply empathetic with the human condition and suffering. And really, it's not just humans. I want to not think, for my own benefit, really, that people aren't suffering, and needlessly so, and that we're continuing to move forward in prosperity, which we have done. But when you say something like the people in Ireland, for me is nobody is a person of an ethnicity or of a group the moment they are born into this world. So somebody who's Irish, who was born into that circumstance through no doing of their own, I have a hard time wishing that they might suffer for a short term or potentially a long term needlessly, because I'm happy and fat and healthy and good. There's a disconnect between us and the way we think of that, and I'm not sure, and maybe it's just the way where you prioritize.
But I don't wish anyone to be that, but they're going to be that one way or the other. Like, there are people in every part of the world that are disadvantaged, and no matter who's in power or who's in office, there's still going to be a group of people that are marginalized and disadvantaged. So I think that one person is going to have an outsized impact. That's true. He's the most important person in the world. But there were poor people, there were disadvantaged people, there were people that were raped, tortured, murdered, killed under every administration in every area of the world. So it feels very grandiose to be like, well, I don't want anyone to suffer. Okay, but they're going to. They always have, regardless of who's in power.
Yes, I guess the question gets to the point of, what level of suffering, what level of increased suffering is acceptable before you feel like you have to personally engage?
It's a good question. It's a great question. Oh man, I think you're probably talking like World War, like Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's super valid. Like, if all of a sudden half the states were like, "You're red, we're gonna blow," like, yeah, obviously. Like if
Okay.
California or like New York was like, "We're gonna go kill everybody in Texas," that's a problem. Like, there's, yeah, that level.
Yeah.
But just
Well, I mean,
political
there are certainly
banter.
gradients in between, though. I mean, obviously there are
Oh,
gradients in
sure,
between there where
sure.
where you have increased starvation, you have increased disease, you have all kinds of additional suffering. I mean, there's many gradients in between here and World War. So if you're saying it's World War, that gives me a lot of insight into why we come with a disconnect. Because for me, it is far shorter than World War before I think it's an atrocity.
What what's your line of demarcation there?
Yeah, and that is a solid question. And maybe it is more arbitrary. And for me, I guess it is what seems to me to be needless additional suffering for the expense of men playing power.
Like ego, yeah. Like,
yeah, exactly. For
sure.
ego.
So, like, what's an example? Okay, let me ask actually if this is an example, and I'll try to pull a thread on that. Right. So,
Go for it. Yeah.
let's say that. Okay. So, can we agree that China invested money into the Mexican infrastructure to be able to support Mexican manufacturing with Chinese investment to be able to sell goods into America so that China wouldn't have to pay the prior tariff that they put into the U.S.?
If that's accurate, that's accurate. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's just say that's the case. And so now all of a sudden the tariff in Mexico, let's say that it goes up, let's say it triples. So the net of that is what? They won't import as many goods into America, right? Which is what? The net of that is, so they don't have as many people working because they don't need to make as many widgets because there aren't as many buyers of those widgets in America. And America is China, or let's say America is Mexico's biggest importer. Okay? So they went from a factory of 1,000 people to a factory of 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what happens to those 500 people? You're worried about what happens to those people that are affected by a tariff that you feel is ego driven.
Nope.
or is it?
Nope.
Because that would be like, because that's the.
No, I'm not worried about those 500 people.
So I'm going to pull on the thread a little bit longer.
I agree. It will be hard to quantify.
So those 500 people, right? Let's say each of those 500 people have a family of 5. And they're the sole breadwinner. So now there's 2,500 displaced people. There's nobody that's a breadwinner. There's 3 kids in every household and a wife that now they have to rely on whatever subsidies the Mexican government has, right? Are you worried about those 2,500 people that the families are impacted from the tariffs, from the guy dangling the tariff? Are those the 2,500 people that you're worried about?
I'm not. So to be clear, yes, that's a tragedy. But I know that on a global scale would not inspire me to get politically involved.
Sure.
I think that's the question. You see what I'm saying? It's not that I don't care about that. It is not enough to get me to be politically involved.
Yeah. Okay. So like what does happen that you feel, because when we talked a little bit before, you were like, do you feel this call to action? And I was like, oh no, like I don't, one way or the other, right? It hasn't risen to a level of action, right? Like,
yeah.
So for you, because, and I know from talking to you, like you seemed very concerned with like the state of America or where America was headed. So like, where does that concern come from? And like, where does that tripwire live that you're like, okay, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to march or picket or whatever that thing is. Cause I just.
So obviously what I'm comparing to are some of the atrocities of the past as well. So numerically where that is that I think that the time is now because I think the trajectory shows promise for being one of those types of events in our world history. And it seems to me the dogmatism that exists today is ripe for that same type of activity. The amount of unapologetic support for Donald Trump is an indicator to me, as you would say, he is not a moral man that you would want your children to be like. But there are some people that do want their children to be like him. And in fact, will say, I think that he's like Jesus. In fact, I literally was reading one the other day.
People say that?
People think he's the second coming.
Kidding?
Well, they thought that Obama was like was Satan, right? They thought Jill Biden was Satan. Like, people say all kinds of stupid stuff.
Yeah, but they justify it. I saw passages in the Bible where they compare it and are making, and for me, I can't think of a person who is likely to be less Christian than Donald Trump.
Great. Yeah.
So I mean, if you hear anything in the Bible about these types of things, he would be the one to worry about, right? He's the one who will be saying that he's the Messiah. He's the false prophet, of course.
Right.
Literally posting golden statues of himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a gold toilet right at MTV Cribs in the 2000s. So it's like...
No, he literally posted a golden statue of himself.
Right.
Not but a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So that's my concern, is it feels like the country is ripe for a legal overreach where it no longer matters. It seems to me that we're a post-truth society.
Whose truth, Tom?
Is less important. Yeah. What is truth? Right. What is a fact?
Or alternative facts.
What is
but
it?
It seems to me that
what is it? The NPR lady? Don't let truth stand in the way.
Yeah. It just seems to me that we're ripe for those types of events to occur where real atrocity happens. We had the January 6th event happen that already showed you that people are willing to ignore the law and or ignore tradition to a violent mechanism in order to subvert the Constitution.
That's wild, right?
So,
like, who would even have the stones? Like, I know there was a local person that flew up on a PJ and stormed the Capitol, and then were so upset that they got put in jail. It's like, what? See, and that's that.
But they're free now if they've gotten a pardon, correct? I mean,
and I don't know if they have, because I haven't followed this lady. She was from Plano.
Well, all of them have been. If they
so it's like
charged with something federally.
People do things in groups that they would never do on their own, and I don't know that there's the term for it, right? Of like, well, if I see somebody else do it, I'm okay do it, and I feel like no matter what side you're on, right? Because you could go back to riots, right? A couple of years ago, riots where like
BLM
somebody would throw a rock and then everybody would throw a rock. And it's like, well, they can't get me if everybody's doing it, but everybody was wrong. And so those types of things are scary, very scary. I've never understood the protest for change. Like, I get wanting to say what you have to say, regardless of what side you're on. I don't get the destruction of property, stuff like that, breaking the law. I mean, I don't break the law, so I don't care who the president is or what I wanted. Certain things seem just not the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I think that's we don't, like, to your point earlier, like, I just don't get riled up. We don't want to be like the boy who cried wolf, right? Because to Tom's point, like, it feels like now's the time to get involved.
But what does that mean?
Exactly. I mean, that's why we started the podcast.
I
don't know. I don't have an answer. Right. Yeah, for us it was this. Like, what the hell? What's a podcast that 20 people listen to going to do? Nothing.
But let me say this. So, do you want to talk about tariffs?
No. I find tariffs highly uninteresting.
Economics of tariffs,
Yeah. So what's the other? What's the evolution of the conversation if we can agree that he's not a good person, if we agree that the world is in an uncertain place and something bad could happen?
We talk about all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
doesn't have to be like the relevant thing.
You know, it's interesting. So my mom is actually Canadian. She married a Canadian. She's down here right now, and up there it's just as divided. Like, some people And that I think would be an interesting take. Some people are like, we don't like where Trudeau took us, right? Because he's been a very left-leaning liberal politician for a long time. There are a lot of people up there that don't like that. The way that they've handled immigration has been different. And so it's interesting too, like we're having this conversation, like broadly speaking, we're having this conversation like we don't like who's in power. We think that this person is XYZ. We're worried about what the outcomes could be. This conversation, I think, is happening. I think this conversation happens all the time, no matter who's in power. It's just the magnitude is different now, right? Because I think, you could say that Doge and X have something to do with it, but it's like, that message can be shared and distributed faster, quicker. But historically, too, legacy media has been liberal leaning. Like if you look at the Wall Street Journal, if you look at any news outlet, it's typically negative for conservative presidents compared to liberal presidents. And so I don't know. I just think this is a revolution.
What? Well, I want to pause because we talked about media stuff and everything on previous episode. We can go back there, but we have covered it because it's an awesome topic. It's awesome. I want to talk about Canada real quick though, because again, this is the stuff that like I actually don't think too many people are having conversations like this, like calm, rational conversations. So like Canada and the 51st state. What's your take?
I don't know enough, right? So here's the thing. How did the Louisiana Purchase happen?
I have no idea. I don't
either. I would want to know what led to the Louisiana Purchase. Was that...
What? Hang on. Can we just pause first and like ask why that is even a valid follow-up question to the idea?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's why I would say that. Alaska, same thing. Who owned Alaska before America?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Russia.
I think Russia too. I mean, you can see it from your house in Alaska. ChatGPT.
I know. I'm on Perplexity.
Russian Empire. Okay. It was a colonial presence since the 18th century.
Okay, so France owned Louisiana. I know that, right? Les bon temps roulés. So.
But wait, so we're talking about. Wait, are we talking
Canada
about
as the 51st
Louisiana,
state?
Or are we talking about Alaska?
Well, so everything.
Let him roll with it.
Everything.
All right. Sorry. Cut. Yep.
So this is just the way my brain works, right? Take it for what it's worth. So I'm from Texas, right? Texas was a Mexican territory until it wasn't. Are we better off with Texas or without Texas? Now it's an easy thing to say. Whenever they,
I don't know. Is it an easy question?
I think it depends on what you value in an economy. Yeah, you're not going to offend me, right? So, so I think Canada is the 51st state. Greenland is the 51st state. I think the question is, well, what's the trade-off? So is there a point where you can say America doesn't need anything else from anybody? America shouldn't buy land? What's the first thing they tell you whenever you get older? They say, hey, go buy a piece of property. It's a way to build wealth, right? It's the American dream. Well, so why isn't acquiring more acreage the American dream if it's legal? And for every buyer, there's a seller. You can't buy something that somebody else isn't willing to sell. So I would say I don't have an opinion. I couldn't list why it's a good or a bad idea, but I could say that if it's for sale, it's worth discussing. I don't see why not. What would be the argument to say it's a bad idea?
I don't know. Is it for sale? I think is the first question.
Yeah.
Like, is it? It is?
It appears not to be.
So
Canada.
But then that thing. No. But then there's that thing of
Canada says no, it's not for sale.
And Greenland says
got it. But so like truly like running the country like a business, like truly is like cool. Like
no,
yeah.
I think the question is so if you were to go to Greenland and you say, hey, are you for sale?
And they say no.
Well, then that's it. I mean, you can't buy something where there's no seller.
Cool. That cool. I'm down. I'm down.
So
we agree.
Is there a narrative that they're just going to like eminent domain?
Well, he keeps
part of the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he keeps it. Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Is the question that America is trying to eminent domain a part of the world?
Well, I don't know. I was just wondering what your thoughts on the whole thing were. I feel like the thing's insane.
A little bit, yes, because I mean that's the comment on Greenland. It'll happen one way or another. Is I think the statement there. Oh, are we too loud?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously eminent domain. That's a different thing. But if somebody's like, Greenland's for sale, it's $1 trillion. Does America have $1 trillion? How do they finance the debt? I don't think there's anything wrong with acquiring more property.
Yeah, I agree. The question really,
Mike,
I think,
what
that's
do you
on people's mind.
I think there's nothing wrong with acquiring property. I think there is something really weird about muscling down property, though. That's really fucking weird.
But whenever you buy when you buy a house, you don't give them the list price. You don't give them 20% over list price. You're like, hey,
no, but like
I say it's worth
but
80%. I know you want 100 because your ego's to it.
I agree. No, I agree. But if somebody came to my house and was like, I'd really like to buy this house, and I'm like, nah, I mean, I'm not interested. And he's like, you know what? We're gonna buy it anyways. And like, I'd be like, well, the fuck you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so like that's
yes.
So that's why, like, that's what I don't get. So then to take the conversation to the point of like, should we not acquire things? Like, no, we can acquire things. I'm totally cool with that.
Well, so here's a little bit of it though, right? So he's clearly offended some allies of ours by playing this game, and I think that weakens us. But here's what I think is an interesting nuance, and I think that many Republicans probably pick up on this. The first thing he did was rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which I'm sure that's again just to get a rise.
I flew over it the day after.
But I think that he's legitimately trying to kind of put his stamp on make a legacy. And I think that's where some of this stuff about Greenland and Canada comes from. He'll be the president who got Canada. He'll be the president who got Greenland. He's the president who renamed it Gulf of America.
You're absolutely right.
I think what is telling, though, is that he didn't say he would make Mexico part of America, because he doesn't want those dirty brown people to be part of this country. And I think that's truth.
What's so interesting is, you know, if he grew up in commercial construction the way he said he did, right? Those people built the buildings. They build everything in Texas and Florida and anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line. Those are the people working, right? And so that is interesting. But I think too, being an elitist, I can't relate to, right? Like I can't relate to growing up in Bridgehampton and traveling to Europe for the summers. Like, I don't know what that does to a person. I don't think it's probably healthy. I think the net of that is you see the world in a very, very pinhole narrow way, most people. And that's probably reinforced your whole life because you're just surrounded by people just like you. Yeah, that's tough.
And our red flags are, so that's the deal, is our red flags are when we look at those people and we say, you are a deeply immoral person. I will not vote for you because I can't trust you. I don't understand your worldview.
Yeah, for me, so like I think abortion is immoral. So like that's kind of my thing is like, okay, you know, abortions are predominantly for minority women. So like if you're pro minority but you're pro abortion, you're kind of like spitting in the wind. And so I think morality is a fair reason to not vote for somebody. I have no issue with anyone taking that stance. I think morality comes in lots of wrappers.
Sure. I think at the end of the day, you know, we're affording somebody obviously tremendous power. And we hope that they are people of principle because
no, they're not
uncontrolled.
Nobody with that much power is people of principle.
We hope there is some semblance of principle because obviously there's a lot of damage you can do when you don't care about people.
I think people say what they have to do to get elected, but then as soon as they have the opportunity to influence in a positive way their sphere, that's exactly what they do. I don't know of and I wish I was like a political historian or like a presidential historian, but like, is it common to pardon your whole family before you leave office? Is it common to set up all of like, is it moral to go sign
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's a lot of that, right? I don't think that morality wins. I just don't think that's why people vote for people. I don't think that anybody at that level is probably of good moral character. I mean, are the
Question:
Obamas getting
would
a
you call
divorce now?
Bernie
Did he
Sanders?
cheat? What is it?
Bernie Sanders. Would you call Bernie Sanders a moral person? From
So,
what you see, I mean, just from what you've
100%.
seen, and would you say he's
So here's
That's what I can't, because I agree with you, man. I think so many of these politicians, I mean, nasty. I mean, like the stuff they do, that sell things down the river, sell their morals down, like left and right, right? Like that's DC, that's business, that's money, that's power, that's influence. Like it's rampant.
Broadly speaking, Bernie Sanders, right? What does he stand for? He stands for like,
generally,
healthcare
for all.
Healthcare for all. Nobody should have more than I have. Everybody should get their equal cut.
That's not Bernie.
So that's why I'm asking.
That is an interesting. I mean, if you're truly asking, no, that would not be Bernie.
I am absolutely asking because again, I'm not a politics guy. Everything that I've ever seen from Bernie was like universal health care, tax the rich.
That's true.
No oligarchs.
That's true. That's true.
So here's what I would say. I think that all that.
But he'd
sounds
also
great.
say that he's a capitalist. I mean, he's a socialist, but he supports capitalism as well.
Yes, of course.
I hate that he uses that term, by the way. He calls himself a democratic socialist. Stupidest term to be using ever, because people are dumb and they're going to fucking hear socialist and just dismiss him immediately.
A group of people will.
But we're not afraid of red anymore, though. So that's a little bit confusing, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Well, right.
So what do I think about him? I don't think about him. I don't think.
No, I just wanted to think if you thought he was moral or immoral. That's it.
Moral, immoral.
That's it. Because
gosh, good question. So I'm trying to give a parallel analogy here. Gosh, this could go way the wrong way.
Okay.
I need to find another one. Okay, let's do this. Let's say this. Let's say that I said everybody needs to be healthy. That you have to be healthy. Being healthy is the most important thing. But then I was 400 pounds and overweight. I would be a hypocrite, but I wouldn't necessarily be immoral. So I would argue that more than anything, Bernie Sanders is probably, I can't judge morality because I don't know anything about him, but I would say that he probably spins a web and tells a story, but his life is nothing like the people that he's talking to. And so I don't think that's immoral, but I do think that there's I don't know. I wouldn't spout it. I wouldn't rail against something that I am.
I realize that morality exists on a spectrum, but for the sake of simplicity, can we bucket? Oh,
you're good. I'm just getting my laptop.
Okay, I was gonna say, can we bucket the aforementioned amorality of typical politicians with that of Bernie Sanders? I think that morality spectrum is there's quite a bit of separation between those two. I don't know if we lost him.
You can turn that light off.
Oh,
sorry, hold on, guys. Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can still hear me.
Can hear you. Yep, can't see anything.
Must be on Verizon.
Yes. Okay, let's see here. So I guess another question in regards to immorality is insider trading immoral?
No, I don't think that is immoral. No, I don't think so. Wait, sorry, insider trading? I mean, it depends on what you mean by that. I don't know. But to the extent that there's money in politics and such, I would not easily bucket that in the amoral category. No. Because that shit's so rampant. Like it's just, that's how it is. That's how it goes. If you're going to call that immoral, then everybody in there is immoral. But like,
is that
the only point? What's that?
I would say it's immoral. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that would.
Well,
be
the problem
immoral.
is where do you so insider trading? I guess what do we call that? Just somebody had information before and they made their trade on it with information that wasn't public. That's generally what we're saying.
The whole Nancy Pelosi thing, right? If you know a big government fund is coming out to support semiconductors, and you know who's going to build the semiconductor plants in America, and who's going to get that money, and then you buy those shares ahead of time.
Yeah, I just don't see that as in my definition of how I hold up morality. That just doesn't pass the test of my like concern. If we go back to, it's an immoral action, but not to the extent that I'm trying to talk about, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like, that's just not the thing I'm going to bitch about, right? Like, I'm not going to bitch about any Republican that's doing that. And I'm not going to bitch about any Democrat that's doing that, because like, it's a waste of fucking time because it happens so often, you know? Am I like, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys disagree? And Bobby, your video is still messed up.
Yeah, my other screen deal, I've got to get some permissions.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Almost there.
We got something.
Almost there.
We got you somewhat.
Yeah, baby. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
You're ruining this pro-level production we have going on here.
Listen.
This is good content, though. I mean, this is a really
I know. This is great. I love this. It's exactly what we wanted.
What else has happened recently? So like on my Twitter, I'm small business Twitter. I'm definitely not politics Twitter. I try to avoid that where possible.
Yeah.
So what is the so we got tariffs, stocks.
God, yeah. I mean, what isn't going on? We covered quite the gamut, and that was the last fucking week. What more can we? Sheesh.
Getting past 2 days anymore is a feat.
It really is. So,
what's
like,
the next
I don't know,
drop?
to earlier.
That's.
Oh God. Like, what happened today? So today was the stocks and the tariffs, right? That was like the topic today, right?
The market reaction to the tariffs were today.
Right. Which to Bobby's point, like, I don't get excited about this stuff either, because this shit will adjust. It just will. And so it's not worth getting excited about. Because in fucking, like, yeah, it might be really bad, you know, a month down the road, but then a year and a half down the road, it'll be just fine. And then we'll forget all about it. But, like, it doesn't excite me, these things. But the concern of it, you know, to Tom's point earlier, like, well, it's all there for really bad things to happen. Yes, agreed.
There we go.
Shift Bobby. I can see Bobby now.
Hold on,
the circle of Bobby.
Is in his Dr. Evil chair.
Yeah, center that thing up.
Lord,
there we go.
What are we doing? What are we doing? I need something cooler than that, guys. Hold on. I'm in that living room, and so it's like it's not very fancy. But anyway,
we were talking about moral, and then what did we kick into? Wait, what was your last question on moral, Mike? I think you were the last one with something on the.
Well, we were just kind of talking about like. Well, Bernie Sanders came up, and I just always like to throw him out because I agree. I mean, there's so many politicians that are just deeply flawed, you know, in pretty profound moral ways, you know, and like, and even outside of that, because this is something I kind of build up to morality, is like just a lack of a spine and lack of any moral compass, you know, that stays put, and everyone's just for sale, right? And that to me is just pretty immoral too, to not have a belief system that you stick to, you know? And so that's why like Bernie Sanders to me is always a prime example of like, he's not that. Like you can think whatever you want about the guy, but he seems to be dead on in every estimation I can fucking throw at it. Like, you know, not perfect situations or whatever, but he means what he says. There is reason behind it. And he doesn't waver from it. And like, that is very rare. You find that rarely in a politician. So that's why I was curious if you thought he was lumped in with the same, you know, dreck, immoral, you know, politicians.
Yeah, I mean, I think his messaging has been the same. And that's a brand.
Well, yeah, because your immediate thing was like, absolutely. He wants everyone to be broke, and like, yeah, so that would be a pretty immoral thing if like that.
I mean, I think his messaging.
He's been selling the same campaign for decades.
Yeah, so he's.
I mean, I think that's Bobby's point. Yeah,
he's at least consistent
for better or worse. Yeah, yes,
yeah. Whether he abides by it or believes it or supports it or yeah.
I believe he believes it. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely so. Which, I mean, again, is more than can be said about most politicians. The stick-to-itiveness and the unwavering belief in it. Like those are two rare traits. Sorry.
100% agree.
Yeah. Where are you at now? Ooh, cabin?
Well, you were thinking Bernie Sanders. I'm going Vermont.
Yeah, there we go.
You get your mittens.
Syrup. You didn't find the separate door, or you didn't find the separate handles for the sink. Cute. Friggin' it. What else is going on?
Well, let me ask a weird question, because I like some of the more philosophical stuff, and maybe this will be boring for somebody, but you mentioned morality, and that's something I do like to talk about some. But morality being on a spectrum, and I guess I'm kind of curious because you and I, Mike, talked, and I'm a little bit more rigid on what morality is. But I'm kind of curious, Bobby, what is your foundation for what is? I mean, even defining morality is sometimes very difficult, right? What's your foundation there?
So kind of my rule is like, what I do, I guess my filter would be, would I want my kids to do the thing I'm about to do? So that'd be my thing.
I like that, actually, really.
Trying to think of an example.
There's a lot to imagine with it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of the last, I'm just trying to think of a thing that's happened recently where that would be a good filter. I can't even think of something that I've run up against recently where
Let me throw a real quick one at you, real quick, because I mean it's an interesting thought. So let me throw out maybe one of the simple ones just to see where it goes. And this may be silly, sorry. Somebody has ice cream and you're walking along with your kids and you want it and you take it and you like the ice cream, but you're saying you wouldn't do that because I'm assuming you're saying you wouldn't do that because you wouldn't want your kids to do it. And the question would be, why? Why do you not want your kids to take someone else's ice cream?
So I guess I would say there are just probably 99% of things I would never do because they're just not the right thing to do. To me, stealing somebody's stuff, I would not do it because I wouldn't want my kid to do it. I wouldn't do it because it's not the right thing to do. I'm trying to think of more higher level, you have a really hard decision, there are just certain things you don't do because they're wrong. I don't have a filter for those. Part of it was I was raised by a single mom. And so, she was tough. She had to do stuff. She had to, our life was just not easy. And so I could never imagine taking something from somebody that worked hard for it because, gosh, if somebody would have taken something from us, we couldn't have replaced it. So long-winded, but
no, you're right. I mean, personal autonomy and personal property are foundational, right? To what we feel like we are due, right? If there's anything that we deserve, it is ourselves and our bodies and that which we can make and create for ourselves, right?
Yeah. Again, I think morality, it's tough because not everybody shares the same standard of right and wrong, right? So somebody could say, well, what if this person left their ice cream to go to the bathroom and you just saw it sitting there and it wasn't in someone's hand? Would you take it then? Because you're not taking it from somebody because it's no one's, but it had to be
possible
someone's.
That you're not taking it from somebody, right?
Right. So maybe there are people that are it's like you find $20 on the ground. Do you turn it into the cashier or do you just put it in your pocket? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how you argue that stuff. And I don't know what the leading authority on morality would say.
Yeah.
I love your questions, Tom, philosopher over there. I feel so simple because I just see what's in front of me. Right. Instead of, I would never ask someone a question like that because I wouldn't, unfortunately, my brain doesn't work that way. So I love that exposure to that,
Well, I have to admit, I mean, it's been a little bit of a journey for me over the last couple of years because I'm fully an atheist now, but, I didn't know where I was for years. I've always probably been an atheist, but I kind of wanted to believe and stuff like that. But anyway, I dug into it and I realized that morality was a real sticking point for me. So I put a lot of effort in understanding where we have to place value. And and it was really uncomfortable for a while.
That's so interesting how like
than I meant for it to be.
Do you have siblings, Tom?
I do. I have an older brother and then 3 younger half siblings.
Are y'all's views fairly similar, or do they waver?
I don't know. So no, we're not tight. We don't communicate a lot. So I don't really know. Well, I do know. My sister, she's pretty liberal, but I don't know that I would even say that. She's pretty socially interested, but I think she's got some conservative leanings. My other younger brother, I think is pretty darn liberal. And I think I have one that may be a little bit more right-leaning, and then my older brother, I'm not quite sure where he is at all.
Would you,
But we just don't communicate a lot.
And I don't know that this was a real thing or if this was overblown, but like there were stories around the web of people that post-election, like stop talking to certain parts of the family because they voted for X or they didn't vote for Y. Are you in that camp where somebody close to you couldn't be a family member or a friend to if they voted for one person or the other?
No, but I certainly could lose my faith in trusting somebody's judgment. Yeah.
So,
and would not consider them somebody who I would rely on.
Right. So it's interesting you said that you would lose faith in someone. How do you define faith? Because you said you were an atheist, and I think most people, when they just hear the word faith, they're going to...
Faith is entirely the wrong word in that context.
Sure.
If you hang up on faith in that context, then trust is the most proper word. I would lose my confidence that they are somebody who I could rely on for important things.
Sure. Man, that's so interesting. I kind of see that though. I think so having kids, young kids, right? We don't let our kids stay anywhere. Like they don't go stay the night at someone's house because no matter who it is, like my mother-in-law, my mom, our neighbors, right? Like I would never, it's like a risk, reward, and regret thing. Like I trust them, sure. But like, I'm not leaving my kids with them. Like, it doesn't matter that I don't trust them. So it's like, even there are just certain things that you have faith in people, but you wouldn't trust them with doing a certain thing. And it's not always their fault. Sometimes they make a decision, they take a stand, and that's the thing. And then other times you're just like, nope, I'll shoulder that one my whole life. Like, and that one will be on me.
I think that's a real testament then to how much you care for the well-being of your children, though, right? I mean, isn't that kind of the source then of it, is that you very much want to make sure that they're getting their moral guidance from a source that you trust.
Yeah, and I think as much as anything too, I think kids are so impressionable. I think you can make your kid into anything. I think you could turn your kid into an apple. If you told them their entire life, they could be polished and eaten and had a seed inside of them. I think that you could convince a child to be anything. And so, yeah, I think for our household, it's very, it's just very black and white. There's no gray in that because children are just too impressionable.
Yeah, I think that's very commendable. You need more parents like you out there.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Parenting's tough. Parenting in this time, it's tough too, especially if you have teenagers, right? So like, can you imagine your kid coming home being like, Timmy said that Elon Musk oh man. I'm just so glad our kids are, yeah.
They're even more connected than we are though, right? So once they get old enough that they get on the socials, they can't get away from each other.
Our kids will never.
It's terrible.
Never. We will never buy them a phone. We will never connect them to social media. Not ever. Because I'm paying for it. I'll take the door off the hinges. You'll be wearing. Listen, my wife, I don't remember the circumstance, but she could only wear sweatpants for like 2 weeks because she did something. And her mom was like, okay, that's fine. This is all you have to wear for 2 weeks, sweatpants. So she's in high school, I think, or like late middle school, wearing sweatpants to school. Because her mom was like, you need to understand, I am the boss. So again, you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, man. So good.
What about Tom? Are your kids similarly aligned from a perspective on what's happening in the world? And if so or not, how much weight do you feel that as a dad, who's probably loved, you seem like a lovable guy, opinion, whatever it is, you just seem like you're a solid person. What's that like with your kiddos? Because I think your kids are older, right? Like young adults.
Yeah, my son is 20. I'll probably get this wrong. 27, I think, and my daughter's in her early 20s too. So yeah, they're both grown and they both have opinions politically. My son is I think probably much more engaged than my daughter, but my daughter is much more vocal now than she has been over the last couple of years. She seems more engaged anyway. They're both left leaning. I mean, we obviously have had a left leaning household, but I was not very thoughtful about how I presented politics and political talk. But honestly, it wasn't very political in our home until the last few years. So I don't think that a whole lot of political stuff influenced them when they were younger. It really isn't until Trump really is when we became more vocal in the household.
The Simpsons had it right. How did they get it right?
I am not too familiar with I know they're always right, but I don't know many of the connections.
I want to say they had a skit, I don't know when, that Trump was the president, like a decade ago?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or something?
Really?
I could be off here, right?
Well, infinitely more accurate would have to be then Idiocracy.
Oh.
Yeah, scarily.
What? So here's a question. Do you still think that America is the best place in the world to live? And if you were in another country, is this where you'd want to go?
I have no clue. I've only ever been in the United States, so I would be a horrible person to ask because I don't have a very good vantage point. But I would think it's probably one of the. I mean, from what we know, yeah, that's going to be the best. But I mean, I think our mindset really sucks compared to the little bit that I've been exposed to some Eastern mindsets, right? Like, I don't think that we have it right. I don't think anybody has it right. I think there's a good mixture of everything that should be experienced. So I don't think it's as cut and dry to be like, America's the best place to live. It's not that simple, but no, I'm not complaining about it. I love it here. As for all its horrible faults and everything that we're experiencing right now, I wouldn't change where I live. No.
Yeah. Same.
Yep, I'm proud of our warts. I love our Constitution. I think our Constitution is a real progressive focus for law in the world, and I hope we preserve it, and I hope we refine it, and I hope we start projecting. I hope we start projecting that value in the world.
What has to happen for someone to amend the Constitution in a way that's, so let's say the third term presidency, is that how that would have to happen?
Yeah, I think it would be a 2/3.
So. Yep.
It'd have to be a 2/3 vote.
Okay.
Not likely to happen in the legislative. Because
there are still Republicans that dissent even recently, right? What were there, 4 Republicans that dissented from a recent, before they took a break?
Tariffs.
Okay. So
McConnell and a couple of them, voted against Trump's tariffs.
So is the consensus that there will be a target on, and again, I don't know the schedules to any of this, but is there talk, rumblings that he's going to look to kind of take them down a notch and have them replaced, or have somebody run against them, or uncover some dirt? Like, is that kind of like the next canary in the coal mine, that like if all of a sudden those people that opposed him now don't in the future, he did something?
Oh, no, so I'm sorry. Maybe I have a different narrative. That's recent.
Okay.
The Senate recently, days passed a bill to control his ability to do these unilateral tariffs.
Okay.
And it will go to the House. So if there are rumblings about replacing them, that would be today's news.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I may have picked up on a different topic.
Sure.
And does having just those few sour the vote, or do they not still have a large enough majority even with those dissenting? Does that ruin it for?
Yeah. So so this is a Senate bill. So this was passed in the Senate, and the House has not voted on it yet. So I don't know who allowed it to come up. Can't remember who the Senate Majority Leader is right now. Was able to bring this thing to a vote, or somehow they brought it to a vote. They've passed it, so it will have to go to the House, and then Mike Johnson will decide whether or not to take it up or not. It could stop right now and never go anywhere from there. Sometimes it's just symbolic votes.
I always wonder, like, if you see the thing happening, what's the thing that's actually happening? So it's interesting, like, okay, so tariff talk. It's like,
what the hell's actually going on? What's the greater move?
Yeah, like what? Yep. Because usually if you're deceptive and you're a terrible person, you don't preach, look at me, I'm a terrible person, I'm being deceptive. It's like, what's the thing? And how do we know it? And when does it come out? And who exposes it? Or is this literally just ego saying, I can have you kiss the ring?
Right, yes. That's the thing I can't stop asking either. And which is another reason why I hate to like jump into criticizing it either. Because, I mean, Trump's not an idiot, man. Like, this could very well end up being the best thing that ever happened, right? Like, we don't know. And like, reality is crazy enough that like that could be how it ends, right? We truly don't know. Like, it's hard to conceive of it, but right? So I get that's where I understand, people going like, we have to wait and see. I get it. Like, but it's crazy, right? At the same time, that's all I wish for acknowledgement.
Well,
like, remember, right? Like, let's just all be ready for when it actually does go bad. Let's quickly fucking acknowledge this shit's insane. Get it the fuck out of here right now. Reverse this, right? Like, we have to be ready to collectively go, we were all really wrong about this. Let's
how does that
go
happen?
Back the other way or whatever. I don't know, because we've
happen?
never seen this. That's why I don't know. These conversations are at least doing one tiny little thing about it, right? So then if shit does go crazy, we could be like, remember that time we talked? That guy's fucking insane, right? Like, I'm not asking anybody to admit that right now, but just to acknowledge the situation zoomed out just a little bit, right? So we can always come back to something should things go bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. I don't, I mean, this whole thing is not about like, let's bring people on here and blast them. It truly is like, hey, the left, I know, you think we're all fucking crazy, loony left. What? No, it's not the case. Yes, they're out there. And the acknowledgement, same on the other side. You're not all crazy right-wing lunatics. Let's all remember that a majority of us meet in the middle. And that's all this is just having those conversations. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting just to think about the stock market, because again, it doesn't impact everybody the same. In fact, most people, it doesn't at all, right? And so it's just interesting that there's so many strings you could pull on there.
Exactly. Yep. And so much of this requires time to pass. And that's why, like, I was trying to hound so hard earlier on, like, the idea of the amplification of things right now. Because I think, at least in our estimation, this amplification is causing it to be even harder to try and be comfortable with letting things have a little time to pass, because there's so much every day, and that's not normal. Remember Sleepy Biden? Sleepy time, right? It was all very slow. It was all very slow shit, right? And now, like, now it's 1,000 miles an hour versus 10 miles an hour. So, like,
I remember,
and Scott, because of that, it's just simply worth, like, let's just acknowledge, all right? That's it.
I remember Scott Galloway saying that. He's like, I don't want to see my president on TV every 30 minutes. Like, I don't want to see that. And it's like, is that what makes a good president? Like, and I guess that's a question too. How do you judge past presidents? Like what? Just broadly speaking, like what's a good president do versus a bad president?
That's a good question.
For me, I think generally the mark is going to be how they navigated bad times, hard times.
So Joe Biden's hard time would be COVID, the inflation.
Yeah, post-COVID inflation, the economy rebuilding. Yep.
And then Trump would be just his first term was, you could just say, you can say it however you want to, but his first term, and then COVID, that was kind of his challenge.
I think COVID was the obvious test.
Right. And then Obama was, well, we had the financial recession.
Post financial recession, right. That's his entry into the market.
Right. And then Bush, obviously, 9/11. We had 8 years of Bush.
Mm-hmm.
And before Bush, it was Clinton, 92 to 2000.
Clinton, yep.
His was the economy.
He was. Mm-hmm.
Was it Bush Sr. before that?
Yep, for one term.
Yeah.
And then Reagan for 2 terms.
And Reagan was savings and loan, oil and gas. Yeah, see,
that's also when the some of the anti-social justice stuff picked up too, right? That's when the welfare queen language really had the big uptick.
Now, so what is that?
Well, I mean, that's when Rush Limbaugh really started to get into politics. That's when they also.
That's when stuff really started changing.
Okay, yep. So that's the talking head, like jumping off point was the 80s.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some of this, the moral majority got kicked off in the 60s. I think maybe early 70s. It was really the Jerry Falwell moral majority, and that's what kind of spearheaded some of this stuff with Reagan. Reagan really kind of rolled that tide in. It's really this Christian nationalist movement. It's kind of where it got its foundation. But there were changes in the laws, and I can't remember what they were, that allowed for more political speak on the airways or something like that. And that's when Rush Limbaugh really started to take off, and those real talking heads started to take off. And that's when there was a real backlash, or those talking points were trickle down and welfare queens.
Okay.
Really started in the 80s. And that's been the message ever since.
And now the medium it went from radio to TV. Now it's podcasting and short form videos. It's so interesting because
it's tweets.
Yeah, and I forget who it was, but they talked about how the revolution in the media and the new medium, whoever wins it first typically gets the first crack at the election. So they were talking about Trump with the podcasting, Barack Obama, it was micro donations, Bill Clinton in the 90s, he was on TV, George Bush was on TV, because he ran against, there was this Bush ad where he talked about just being consistent. And John Kerry, they showed him flip-flopping, where Bush, it was like the same thing over and over. And like just that message, right? That one message won over as many as he needed. And it's interesting. And I guess part of it too is like in hindsight, do you have scars from any of those presidents, Tom, that you still feel today? Or like you can like just close your eyes and be like, they ruined me for a period, or like I went through this thing. Like, do you have any scars from, 5, 6, 7 presidents that you still feel today?
No, and admittedly, I think it's a symptom of being so young. So I mean, I'm only 50 now, and I was pretty naive and not politically interested for most of my adult years, really. Right? I mean, I had a job, I was working, economy was good enough, and I wasn't too terribly interested in some of the social justice things that were happening at the time.
Sounds like you're talking about me, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But it wasn't until maybe Bush 2 that I started getting concerned. And that was really 9/11 obviously woke a lot of us up in our response to it.
Where were you? Were you still active?
A bit more engaged.
Were you still active when that happened?
No.
Okay.
No, I just missed. Yep. So yeah, Reagan. I was a Reagan kid when I grew up, but he was the president when I was a kid. I didn't care much about Bush, the first Bush. Clinton, he was the president when I was in high school. I was probably turning a little bit more liberal then. So some of my formative years there is probably why I started leaning left. And then Bush as the follow-up there. I don't know. It was his mannerisms that I didn't particularly like. He laughed everything off. He seemed like he wasn't serious, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he didn't want that job.
The weapons of mass destruction stuff or whatever. Yeah.
There's a limp handshake too.
Yeah.
Obama was pretty smooth. It was pretty inspiring when he got elected. I thought that it was at least a statement from our country that maybe some of the racist roots were being tamed, and I think that actually what we've achieved is that we realized that really pushed too many people over the edge. I think racism is at the core of some of this backlash. It's that Christian nationalist kind of root with racism at the core. Because I think that when Obama got elected, and certainly the second time, they realized that the world was broken.
So and I can only speak about my experience, right? But so the church I go to, I've gone there for 15 years, and it's full of different people from different places. I'm talking, it's probably half, I don't want to say minority, but I'd just say, let's say half is minority, the other half is the other half. And it's like, it's so interesting to hear someone say, because I've never heard that Christian nationalism and racism being joined together. And so it's interesting, and I guess maybe that's just because of the church that I go to, or the way that I view the world. It's like, that seems so counter to Christian behavior to hate somebody because of race or where they're born or how they speak. And so it's like, that stinks. And I don't doubt it. I don't know enough to doubt it or support it. But that really, that's part of the problem.
I'll back it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll back it up just a little bit because that's where Jerry Falwell's moral majority came from. So originally, that whole protest that created that movement was desegregation in the 60s. So that's where Jerry Falwell was arguing against, is he didn't want segregation. And again, that's the movement that has spearheaded most of this growth.
Okay.
Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation have all spurred out of this. It's kind of been their plan all along. So it's really that movement and that type of Christianity that is, I think, the source of most of this Christian nationalism. And there's the undertone, certainly, and always has been, of race.
How do you, broad question here, how do you view race versus immigration? Do you see those two things as being two sides of the same or opposite sides of the same coin, or do you feel that those are different issues altogether? And I'm going to grab my computer charger because my computer's about to die. I'm listening though.
Mike, do you have some thoughts on that? Because I have to admit, I don't know that my thoughts on race versus immigration are very deep.
I guess I don't know what that means. So race and it's race and what?
Just a differentiation between race and immigrant, right? And immigration.
So here, I'm sorry, guys. Let me help.
It's going to come to a question about national identity.
Yeah. So that's kind of where
we're going to get some clarity.
That's kind of where I was going, Tom. Is you kind of got there before me. Okay, so I'll ask a few qualifying questions. It's going to be about
nationalism and national identity is what it will have to boil down to.
So the qualifying question is, or let me just ask this: do you think that MAGA supporters are racist white people mostly?
No, I wouldn't think that they would think they are. Yes, no.
So you don't think that they're racist white people?
Most MAGA supporters?
Mostly, no.
Okay. Do you think that Trump is a racist?
I think he likely has some. I think we're all racist, to tell you the truth.
I think we profile, right? Like based on the history that we have with people and what we know and what we've experienced.
I think we are tuned to look for differences and always treat somebody who appears different as an outsider in some way, shape, or form.
Sure. And so where I'm going is kind of like, and maybe I misread this, but I read Christian nationalists that propped up a political movement which led to the extreme right Conservative Party.
Yes.
So my question there is like, do we think that the hot button issues in the current administration, that immigration is one of the top?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. And so is that based on being racist, or is that based on being American?
Yeah. Is it racist or just nationalist?
Right.
Yeah.
And does that matter?
I think it's so what's the question again? Like
So let's say that Trump got
immigration
elected
is happening because
stance.
there's like.
Yeah, and so kind of broadly, the question is like, if you hate Trump, right? Which means kind of
hate him.
Yeah. So you could kind of deductive reasoning say that you hate the people that support him.
Oh, shit.
No. Not at all.
Okay, interesting.
He's probably the only person in the world that I hate. Probably.
Yeah. So again, I guess the question is just like if his big policy. Gosh, this has been too long. I don't even know where I was going with the question.
We were talking about race and immigration, if that helps.
Yeah, so if Trump got elected because of his stance on
a differentiation between
Yeah, so I'm trying to tie these threads together of like Trump was elected because his rhetoric on immigration, so many people supported. Christian nationalists kind of have created this movement up and to the right. My assumption, Tom, based on what you were saying, was that we thought the collective thought is that base is white racist people. But if that's not true, then that wouldn't really matter. But the question is like, he got elected because of a lot of people didn't like his stance or supported his rhetoric on a lot of topics. So like,
America first.
Yeah. So
MAGA, I mean, make America great and America first is.
Yeah. I guess the question is like,
basic propaganda.
What's the alternative?
Well, I mean, for the presidential election, there was no great alternative, as we know, right? Like,
right. But I'm saying, like, if you could,
we're not here arguing
world,
like,
what would you want your president or your politician to stand for?
Yeah.
Oh, that's I don't know. Like, we'll go back to one of the things I said earlier about like, not that I wanted to be Bernie, but the one thing that I like strongly pointed out was like have convictions that don't change with the wind, and have a spine. And be a good human. Like, those would be like the three huge things I would want in a president.
Does Trump have two of those three?
He has a spine, certainly. Kind of. I mean, like, I'll grant him that. I disagree. I think he could be snapped like a fucking twig. But I'll grant him he's got a spine. Whatever. Like, whatever. I get it. People think he has big balls, and like people love Trump's manliness, right?
You're
I'll give him
never
that. He's
gonna
got a
win his
spine.
man. He got shot in the ear. He's got a picture of him, blood on his face.
I mean,
his hand raised.
Have you seen that painting with him? Yeah, like the one we used on the
put it on a t-shirt.
The tank, and he's like, "Urgh," and he's like, "Fucking," and people are like, "Oh, Trump."
Do y'all remember that
Trump? Okay, yes, he's.
Remember that Putin meme where he was riding
on a horse?
On the horse with the bare chest.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay, I'll give him that. He's got a jelly spine. Okay, what were the other two? Convictions that don't change with the wind? Nope. That's out.
No.
Yep. And what was the other one?
Morally not
good human, just a good human. No, I think he's a garbage human. I think he's like the worst human on the face of the earth. So no, he had 0.5. He had a jelly spine. And 0.5 of the 3. That's what he got.
So what do we think the world looks like if Kamala was elected right now?
A little better. A little better.
Better.
A little better.
What's better?
Not this. Not 51st state with Canada, Greenland.
But
all the shit we've been talking about for the past 3 hours.
Right?
Like none of that.
We talked about that's okay. So you mean status quo?
But hang on. But we'll call back the amplitude that is not okay. Right. That's the big theme here. Is like all of this combined contributes to the amplitude, the insanity. Of course.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, people have to decide that that's how they're going to spend their time.
Yes, and that's part of the problem.
And so we're thinking...
That is a huge part of the problem.
So the consensus is that the Trump supporters are louder, more vocal than the left?
Yes, which was what I was trying to say at the top of the episode.
You think
like,
so?
Things are different. Things are different.
Yeah.
January 7th, I don't know, or 6th, sorry, January 6th. I mean, yeah, I do think that the right is louder than the left in their actions. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
But admittedly, I mean, along those same lines, they're convinced of something that inspires them.
Oh, they are.
To that
100%,
action.
man.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And so
that's what we're talking about.
If I had believed the election were stolen too, in the way that had been described, I could have been there.
So, gosh, I'll go down this road. Is it true that Kamala won the states where the voter ID laws are the lackest. In only those states. I guess.
Well, there weren't that many states that she won, so I think we can probably look it up pretty quick. And I think they were pretty Democratic states, which I think by very nature of their title are probably pretty lax, right?
There may be a different
California
correlation, right?
Yeah. So what do we think about voter ID law?
Because so the question is this. Let's just ask the actual question you're asking though, is whether or not she got fraudulent votes. Is that the question you're asking?
So if you follow broadly speaking, do you?
She should have lost worse. God damn it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the question is, and Tom, you know this probably. Y'all probably both know this better than I am. Let me make sure I say this right.
I doubt it. I'm pretty dumb.
There was, okay, let's take the Social Security cards and the benefits. Let's just, broadly speaking, people that come into this country, should they get those things?
Yes. If they're here and they're working and they're here, yes, they should have them and pay taxes.
Mike, your consensus there?
Yeah, I don't have a huge dog in this fight. I'm interested to hear. I don't have a lot of knowledge of immigration stuff. The one thing that I will say that like annoys me with the debate of it is it seems like there's so many people that really don't have much experience about it either. Now, you as a Texas citizen, this is what I really want to hear from, because I truly don't have that in my life.
So I'm
gonna sit back and listen.
I'll give you my secondhand experience. So my wife is a public school teacher. She taught kindergarten, second grade, and fifth grade. At the time that she was the teacher, less than 30% of the students could read at grade level. Less than 30%. Her school, the last school she was at, they told her that she would need to learn Spanish to continue her employment, which I don't know what rule that breaks, but I imagine it breaks one or two. And so this is a side journey, but so my only experience with immigration is that, and I don't even know that I don't presume that they're illegal aliens. They could be very fine, upstanding Americans that just don't speak English. That could happen.
Birthright citizens.
Yeah, absolutely. That could happen. And so that's not, the conversation is more of the strain that student puts in a classroom in a public school. Public schools aren't equipped to deal with that, because what happens is in her school, the kids that did well, they all chartered out. So they would find a school, pick a school where all of the other good kids went, and they'd go there. And that would leave the rest of the public schools with the kids that shouldn't have been passed along and shouldn't be in the grade that they're in. But schools lose funding if a percentage of their class gets held back. So principals, even though they're supposed to hold people back, they don't, because it looks poorly on their numbers and their funding. So they have self-interest to move them forward. So that's my deal. I don't really have a dog in the hunt for immigration.
Well, I want to throw one thing.
My question was about if you allow illegal immigrants to vote. Now, that is...
They can't vote. I mean...
Okay.
I don't agree with that at all, and I don't think anybody does.
So that was the conversation with... Is his name... Tom, I'm going to send you something because I watched it, and it was just... I don't know what it was.
It's recent. It's the recent Doge piece where they saw the 2.1 million immigrants that got Social Security numbers. And because Biden has this plan, I think it was some of their terminology, and I think they hinted that some of them voted.
It was the lawsuit that Chuck Schumer and them filed against... I'm going to write myself a note, Tom, because, again... So, guys, you'll have to apologize. I don't know all the details, but the issue is, like, if you can get people...
This is all fun stuff either way.
And isn't that kind of the deal? Is like, if I can hold something over you, I can get you to move in my direction. And so if I can get people, is it true that the border crossings are down 90%? So if you could do that as a president, why wouldn't you? unless there's something ulterior. So to me, it's always like, where does the common sense rule here, or where does the money rule? And it's like,
nah, sorry.
Please,
my deal is I don't entertain the common sense language at all. I think leaning on the term common sense is at the point where you give up and you say, I'm going to give in to what I want to believe. If somebody can illustrate to me something tangible, I'm okay with that. But I think most of it's just narrative. So narrative on both sides.
That's fair.
Is what I think largely that is. Unless you've got some kind of specific statement or something like that, I'm going to have to assume that I can't know what the ulterior motives were.
Yeah,
I just don't know, and I just don't want to play that game because you're not going to run into anything where you've got something foundational. I think
you're right,
but maybe you do have something foundational, but I'm not going to have anything to refute you either.
So here's one. I'll go out on a limb here. So in Dallas, there is a group of land that was bought by. I'm going to use a different example. Let's say that the Smurfs have billions of dollars, okay? And the Smurfs can buy a piece of property in North Texas that's for 500 acres, okay? And they can slowly move the Smurfs, they can slowly immigrate Smurfs in and around that 500 acres. So much so that eventually they get seats on the school board, they get seats at the city council, they get seats in the HOAs, to where now all of a sudden the Smurfs surround this 500-acre piece of land. And now the Smurfs want to build a Smurf village in the land that they now circle, and they now can decide what happens in that village. That to me is the crux of immigration. And gosh, this is, this is probably completely unrelated, but it's like, I think that is the thing that people worry about, is that the place that they thought was one way slowly is eroded to become another way, and they're just not equipped to change. Not everybody can change, not everybody wants to change, but I think like most people don't like wholesale change, which is why most people live within 20 miles of their parents, right? So again, my deal with immigration was that if you lord something over them, could you buy their votes? Could you pander to them? Could you simply say, come here, we'll get you set up, and then when the time comes, we know that you're going to stay here, so your kids are going to go to school here, we're going to get on the boards here, and then all of a sudden you have also too, right? You just talked about birthright citizenship. So if I immigrate 500 Smurfs here.
Well, hold on, because I'm willing to engage in the conversation that you started, so I don't know if you're going to pivot from it or not. Okay. So to be clear, so the Smurfs are not native, correct? And they've moved in and they've taken over an area or whatever. I think I have sympathy for this view of yours to a degree, because I think it does get to your national identity question about, who are we as a collective? Because I think what we want to be is to be bound by our values, right? It's
but those transcend nationality.
We have a few foundation. They do transcend nationality, but there are lots of traditions and cultural things too that we value, that we think make us who we are, right? I mean, it's all about tribalism at the end of the day.
The world you want your kids to inhabit is how kind of I look at it.
Yeah, I grew up in this, and I think this is good, and I want my kids to have that too, because I grew up in that, and I thought it was good, and my dad did too, and his dad did too, but I want that for my kids. And then to see that people can come in who are not part of the group, and they can change the values of the group, I get that that's concerning. And I think that's a legitimate question about, I think nationally, I think we have a constitution that sets what the values are that we hold. And if you don't agree with those values, or they're not important to you, that's a tough question still too, because we should be able to challenge our constitution. But there is something fundamental. There's something foundational there that I do want people who choose to come into this country to value.
Right. I'm with you.
I think that's a little bit of the crux.
It's black and white's tough. There's always some gray.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw this out there as far as tough and like black and white. when it comes to stuff like immigration, race, integration, societies, cultures, integrating, being forced to speak a different language at the school for fear of losing your job, right? All these things, all these concerns that come up when the Smurfs come in. It's challenging, but the place I always go to, because unlike you two, I don't have kids. And so like my worldview has always been a bit different and kind of once removed, from worrying about like, oh, we're going to leave for the kids and, stuff like that. And like, I totally sympathize with all of those concerns of the Smurfs moving in. But when you start to zoom out just a little bit and start to, just analyze, these are humans, right? These are humans. And like, look what we're doing. We're saying, because the language your tribe speaks is coming in and messing up mine. And like, what the hell? How do we reconcile? Because like, first of all, can we pause there first and like, does that resonate? I mean, like, do you feel that on a human level, once you kind of remove like your securities and your family's securities, is it easier to kind of like see, this is pretty straightforward. Like, yeah, we have these societal things, but as a general rule, these are humans, right? Does it resonate, or is it just me? First of all, I mean, like Tom.
Oh, I don't want to jump in and come on Bobby if he's got something, but yes, it does resonate with me.
Bobby?
Yeah, I think you want trust and safety for you and the people that you care about, and just probably general welfare at large, because you need that to function, right? Like if everybody's afraid, then they're locked in their doors, then they're not spending money, they're not investing, they're not
right,
and no business survives.
No, but just like survives. Just Bobby Vickers personally though, you like when you analyze the idea of like immigrants fleeing for safety illegally, like they need that safety you're speaking of and that comfort and those basic needs, the food that you like, they're just as in need, probably more so. When you remove yourself and your family's needs and just zoom out just for the idea of entertaining it, right, as an idea. Like, do you share the same feeling I have of just like a profound awareness of, yeah, they need to be taken care of. Like, yes, my family does too, and I need to, but like as a human, this is actually not good. Do you, Bobby, like have that same just pause and reflect, zoom out and just reflect?
Have y'all ever been to
do you share that?
Haiti or Africa?
No, but I've seen pictures. Same thing. I mean, I would talk about that. I would put this in the same category. Do you, as a human, see that as like, that's a big problem? Like, regardless of what my situation is, like, it is not good that I'm existing like this and they are existing like that. So, like, that's not good.
Yeah, no. So, yes. And I've been fortunate enough to go to Africa, and the pictures don't do it justice, the way that people are live, what they're born into, the things that they have to deal with. So yes, I think if people are in that situation, then absolutely. Now.
And I'm not even talking about like you're laying in the dirt with flies crawling on your face. Like, I'm not talking about like that has
Syrian
to be the point that it reaches, right, to where you have this feeling,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about just I'm fleeing strong gang violence and coming to like I the whole spectrum is what I'm talking about of like the human experience and needing safety. And so for me, like that's where things like immigration, race, it always just comes back to that simple point of zooming out quick and just like having that just detachment, momentary detachment, just to remember like, yeah, I know that I've got to take care of my family and this, but like that doesn't change the fact that there's a huge injustice with this situation. Not to say that there's an easy answer to it, but that's where it starts. Like the humanity starts there and then works outward from that. Because it's all problematic. Like Tom said, totally feel for that situation. But it's so big and so vast and there's so many problems that I tend to always come back to the most essential elements of things of going like, this is wrong. And like, no matter what else is the case in the world, like, it doesn't change the fact that this is wrong. And then guide from there, really, just a reflection and admission of that, and then guide from there. I think it's something we forget to do. So that's all. It's just a simple thing that I think we forget so often, and we are so just consumed by media and advertising and shit and life and paying stuff and just making life happen.
I just want to go live on a farm in Iowa.
Milk goats. But like when it comes to political stuff, it's just like, oh, what's the answer my team likes to say? And well, that's how we end up with where we're at. Like, people, come on, wake up, just think a little bit more, talk a little bit more.
Do you think that politicians honestly get into it because they think they can change? Like, how do you?
I think some do. Some.
I think.
Yeah.
Some. I'd say maybe like 20% of them.
I know, it's just.
Others see it as prestige and power. And I think a lot of them who may have gotten into it for principled reasons end up staying in it for the power.
Yeah, or just like, they're just so weak that they're just like,
right.
Yeah.
Can't do this.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because like you're just signing up to get kicked in the shins for the rest of your life. Like, danged if you do, danged if you don't. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's gonna the pendulum's gonna swing, right? And you're just okay with it because your position. You're good either way.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, you're so right. And I think this stuff can change. It's all we've ever known. So I know it's like silly to hear and be like, but like, I think it can change. It's the money in politics, the technology, the advertising, all of this stuff. Like, if that can get pushed out, if enough people can, I know it seems impossible. I get it. But if enough people can get pissed about it, if we can get those nasty parts out, I think we can flush out a lot of the, it'll take a long time, but I think it could get flushed out and get to at least a decent sense of normalcy. And it's going to happen because all these old fucks are all, they're all flushing out. So like the new generation is coming in regardless. And like this stuff starts now, right? And so we just want to be a part of it.
Is it?
Like, we're tired of these assholes running the show. Fuck them. It's time for something different.
But different in the way that you want it to be different. Not different and different.
Nope.
Because Trump is different.
Nope. Different. Okay, well, we'll put it this way. Different. No, I'm going to stop you because it's the name of the show, is Middle Outcast. Different in the way that 90% of everyone else wants it. Right up the middle. That's where everybody wants it.
Yeah, but so I think that, let me ask this question, and I don't know if y'all know this. Is it Great Britain or the UK, one of those two, you can only run political ads for a certain period. You both get the same amount of money and you both get the same amount of airtime. So money doesn't really matter because you both have the same budget, the same exposure, right? Sans social media. But it's like, you almost need to find a way to make...
I'm not willing to say that money is not the issue just because something in Britain didn't work or whatever.
What I was saying
if you actually say that like money's not the problem, then you're wrong.
No. What I was saying
was
that...
at least one of the problems.
Yeah, no, what I was saying was like, is the solution to where everybody has the same war chest, right? Like you each get 100 hours.
I don't know.
You each get $10 million. That's what you get. Because what you're talking...
That's getting on the right path, certainly.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like
yes.
Banning pharma commercials on TV, right? It's like, okay, I mean, if that's a net positive, and like, okay, let's give everybody the same budget. Let's see how they use it, because then it would be intelligence. But in this case, didn't the Democrats outspend Trump like 4-1?
And outspending is not the issue here. It's the fact that that gross amount of money is involved at all. Yeah, money is the point, but it's not that just because you raised more. It's the fact that there's a gross amount involved.
Relative to what?
Sanity.
That's not a barometer.
No, don't fuck around with this.
It's not the barometer.
Social media, you know what it's engineered to do. You know what social media is engineered to do. You know what stocks are engineered to do. You know what influences this stuff is rife with all of this. And like, I'm not saying I have the answer.
Sure.
But to fucking go, it's probably not, is highly
I'm saying that
disingenuous
I'm saying that money I'm saying that money is the issue, but spending more money than somebody else 3 to 4 times that, shouldn't they have won if all of this stuff is true?
Do you think that's an honest question?
So we both agree that money in politics is bad, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the follow-up question is, should the person that had way more money and spent and wasted way more money, should they, like, you wanted them to win? Because that would have been the outcome.
Did I say that once? Did I no, like, I'm serious. Did I gesture towards that or say that?
So would you prefer Kamala Harris as the president?
What I would prefer is that they didn't have a gross amount of money to work with for their campaigns.
We agree.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that was my question.
That's it.
Well, and that's what I was saying about the UK is, like, they cap it where everybody has the same amount of money and the same amount of exposure. But
how much money did they have?
Well, but what I'm saying is, the money isn't what won Trump the election. So the money would not have changed this election. Do you think do you see what I'm saying? If money is the issue, money caused
I
this
do see
bad
what you're
outcome.
saying, and that's why I think it's flawed. What you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, what you are saying is, my assertion is that money is a big problem. And then Kamala spent 4 times as much, ergo she should have won.
No. Ergo, money is not the biggest problem.
Well, I didn't say the biggest, I said a big problem.
Sure. We agree. Yeah, it is a big problem. But money,
Okay, perfect.
money didn't buy the election.
I never said it did.
Right. And
No,
I'm not
say
saying
that
that you
did,
said
though.
that you did either, though. I'm just making a statement that,
Then why are we masturbating around this? Like, it's simple. Money in politics is bad. You went, but is it? I mean, in Britain, money in politics is bad. Do we disagree?
You're missing the whole point. You can't run an election without money. What I'm saying is both people should have the same amount of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, what just, like, as a reasonable person who knows, like, I mean, obviously we've never run a presidential campaign. We can't possibly know how, like, it's, I mean, but if you just had to, like,
Sure.
take a rough assessment of the world the way it is, running marketing campaigns, like, what do you think would be a fair budget for a presidential candidate? I could take a stab. I have a number that came right off the top of my head.
Was it like 50 to 100 million?
It was exactly 50 million. That was yep.
Pick a reasonable number, right? Somebody would have to do a test run and see if that was enough to influence enough people to get out to vote, right? Because at some point it's just awareness and repetition and consideration. And so but
good enough starting point for me.
Right. Well, and my general consensus here, Mike, my general thought is that money is bad, but money wouldn't have changed this particular election.
Sure.
So you're still going to get the same outcome if you take money out of it. So what's the next thing that has to be reworked?
Whoa. Pause. Can you restate what you just said? I'm going to get the same outcome? In what? Are you talking about the last election or moving forward?
Yeah, no, just the last election. I can't predict we can't project that.
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. So I'll cede this last election. That's not even my critique, is that money in politics caused Kamala Harris to lose. That is, like, furthest from my assertion of the situation.
So we're talking about how to make elections better or more fair? Or
I'm talking about how to make politics more reasonable. And yeah, like, there's a massive problem with money inside of politics. There just is. And I would think that a good deal of what has happened over the past 60 to 80 years as a country is largely due to that aspect. Citizens United.
This may be a weird question. I'm sorry, and I hope I don't throw off because this is really good stuff. But it raises a question for me, and it's this one. I think money and politics are one and the same thing. You have to have money in order to get advertising out there and to influence people. And in my mind, that is part of people stating what they want, right? So I give money to the candidate that is selling the message that I want. I think here's the difference that maybe I think is interesting. Elon Musk has nearly $1 trillion. So if we all look at money as the goal to give to somebody, I think of money as a vote then. So does Elon deserve, because he amassed so much money, the ability to have that much influence on the election, however much he's willing to spend?
People would like to say he gets one vote, right? The naivety of that.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's not fair.
But does he get $1 trillion votes?
I know. That's a good question. That's tough.
Yeah, I think there has to be a balance there. I think there has to be a balance because
absolutely.
I think it's directly related to the economic imbalance that we have. And that's unfortunately what happens, all right? You have an economic imbalance, and those who are the beneficiaries of it are able to then continue to influence the system to become beneficiaries of more.
100%.
Right. I think that's the issue. So it's not just one thing. It's that right. We don't have a level playing field there.
Gosh, and you love the people that
it's messed up.
Life's not fair. Put your boots on, go to work. Life's not fair. But there comes a point, right, where
pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
There comes a point where the magnitude is just so.
Exactly
big.
Right. When the top 1% has more wealth than the bottom 90, there's a problem, right? We have allowed somebody to become too powerful. And I think that's what's happening with Tesla, right? So people aren't mad at Doge. What they've done is they've realized that somebody who is compromised. I mean, I think Elon prides himself in his edgelord attitude, in his ability to flout his money, right? Fuck Bob Iger, right? Fuck them. Fuck, I'll do what I want. I'm Elon Musk. Heil, whatever. And I think what people realized was that
bottom of my heart,
he has achieved too much power for what he's representing and the influence that he's trying to have on the world. And we need to take that power back. And I think that's what the message is that Tesla is a tool that is giving him power. And the only way to get it back, because he clearly is misusing the vast power that he's got from their perspective, is they're clawing it back in the way that they can. I mean, I said after the election, immediately after the election, I said to my family, I said, I'm surprised that every Tesla in the world is not on fire right now.
You did say that.
Because Elon Musk bought this election.
Was that an issue? Was it an issue of, it wasn't an issue before he bought the election, right? Can we agree to that? Like everybody was fine with him being the world's richest person? Or were there issues? Did you have issues with it before? Like, did you think this great inequality should be rectified?
No, I think, yes, I do think that the great inequality is the same. I think that problem is actually expanded in many ways. I don't think that people should be able to gain that much power and influence over others.
Yeah, it's a weird relationship.
You don't think that, well, Tom, so you're saying you don't think that like any one person should have that much wealth or
yes,
have the ability to do thing. They are. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
For me,
well, hang on,
because it's also about influence, right?
But would you change your answer if, and I know this is such a vague phrase, but like, would you change your answer if, money was out of politics, right? Like, because then does money lose its strength when it's out of, public
That's
policy?
A really good point. I mean, you're right, because that is a limit on its influence. And I think that's legitimate. And that's a legitimate
Right. It's not
case
the
for
amount of money.
It's what he's doing with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's what
so you're not railing against him for being rich. That's not the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's just unfortunately what he's able to do with all of
exactly.
that.
And would that change if he was
else
doing what you wanted a president to do?
No.
So like
No.
if he could speed up your causes by 30 years, you wouldn't be for it.
I don't think I should be able to do it solely from one person's will.
Yeah, it's a lot. What is? Gosh,
I don't think anybody should be able to force their will on so many others.
I would love to have like a old Roman historian on here, right? Somebody that like understood like wealth and power and birthright and just because you think about like the monarchy, right? They have a ton of wealth, they have a ton of influence, but like nobody hates them. Like broadly speaking, like everybody loved Queen Elizabeth, right? But she was the same thing. She had both, right? She had birthright, she had wealth, she had power. But it was like she never really rocked the boat. Like, and I think Kara Swisher said this yesterday or the day before. We don't like to see him doing all this. We don't like to see that he's the person doing all this. We'd rather just see the puppet instead of the puppet master. And it was interesting because she's as liberal as they come. And she's simply saying, I don't want to see it all. So it's not necessarily that it's happening. It's that it's so virile and apparent, which I think is interesting. Just broadly speaking, her opinion versus mine, it's like probably wrong either way. I don't know that it's more wrong because you see it, right? I don't know. It's like, it's okay to cheat on your spouse as long as she doesn't find out. You're like, what? Whoa. No.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's an interesting thing. I feel like I would rather see it. And like, here's the thing is, make regular practice of trying to check myself. Like, am I just crazy here? I mean, that's been a regular practice for
I've had some
nearly a decade, right? And like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a regular activity that goes on, with too many other people when it comes to, politics and stuff.
Let me say this.
And I can't stop answering, no, I'm not crazy. Damn it. Now I sound like a drug addict, apparently. I'm not crazy.
And Tom, you know this from having kids. A lot of the millennials are in their having kid phase where it's like 2 car payments, house, kids. Yeah. And you get so busy. And
I'm seeing it. Oh no, we lost you, Bobby.
Still there? Aw.
Oh no. Oh, I bet maybe it did.
He's been a trooper. This has been awesome.
It's been good stuff.
That is computer. Oh. So shifted.
You saw something shift?
The layout shifted, but it was just our videos. Let's see if I can text him.
Craig O'Dear said that he would be happy to come on anytime.
All right, see? We're hitting the format now. Yep. Look at us. This is a long episode, too. Holy buckets.
I know. Craig's really educated. I think that he would be able to bring way more insight to a conversation like this.
Some historians on here, too. Is he good into history?
I think so, yeah. He doesn't leverage a whole lot of historical context, but he typically will put things in context, yeah.
His AirPods died. He's coming back in.
Oh my! Look at my ring turns black. That's funny.
What color is it?
Green. Because of the green screen.
Yeah,
well, I don't know. I would think that the rest would shine through it, though. No, so maybe it's not.
Weird.
It may just be the light.
There he is. Damn it. What were we talking? You dropped. We were right in the middle.
You had said, God dang it. Oh, I had remembered what you said because I was going to use it to remind you.
They didn't like being able to see Elon do everything.
We got a little further
behind
than
the
that.
scenes.
I don't recall exactly where it was.
The Queen, Elizabeth.
Queen. Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen no queen in her damned undies either.
Just how,
Lebowski.
And I don't know how the audio quality is now, so I apologize. But how people it was pageantry, right? Like nobody railed against that because she didn't really stand for much that people knew of. So I think that there is something. So here's an interesting thing, right? Unrelated, but related. Our first commercial project, we call somebody, we're like, hey, we see you're on this job. And they're like, oh no, we have a vendor, we're good. And I said, well, what if I just show you what our costs are and how much money we're going to make? Would you give me a shot? He goes, what do you mean? I go, I'll show you our invoice. I'll show you our labor. And then I'll show you how much money we're going to make. And you decide if it's a good deal or a bad deal for you. He said, okay. Sent over the drawings. I sent back line items. Here's the material. Here's the receipt from the vendor of what it would cost. Here's our labor. Here's how much money we're going to make. We got the contract. So sometimes I think, and I think this is true of the current state of affairs, I think sometimes your brain is better suited to imagine and to create a world that you think might happen, because our brains are so able to do that, where, what is it, Mark Twain, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So I think that is true very much of the culture that we're in right now. I think very much like it's very easy to like fast forward and think, oh my gosh, like if this happens and that happens and like who's going to stop him? And so I just think it's very easy for us to imagine a world where things are real bad because we're creative beings. Like that's fun and easy.
Yeah, that helps. I think it helps us survive. I think it's what has helped us survive is our ability to imagine dangerous worlds to avoid, right?
Well, I mean, it didn't help us in World War II and one. We didn't imagine Hitler could be Hitler, right?
Sure.
It didn't. I mean, like,
well, I think
our history
would have had the imagination, sure.
But now we also know, and like,
hindsight.
And it's happened enough now that we're like, not again.
This is
not
the time.
Again, motherfuckers. Like, no, we've seen this before. We're smarter than this. Get it together.
It'll be so interesting. Like, I think COVID was the same thing, right? If you don't get the vaccine, you're going to die. Okay. A lot of people believed it. A lot of people stood up for it. A lot of people got all the shots. How'd that work out? And then
how did it work? No, how did it work out?
I think it's a legitimate question.
I would like to know
how did it work out?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
I don't have an opinion on that. I just know it was like a boiling point, right? Like a lot of people were like,
right.
Get the jab, don't get the jab. Get the jab, don't get the jab. It's like 2 years later, like there are no zombies either way, right? Like,
well, I think there's a legitimate case there. I mean, millions of people did die. So I guess it's just not such a simple thing for me. The jab, I think, saved quite a few lives.
Yeah, I think so.
I think back to the pandemic era every once in a while, and before it, this one's interesting. Before it got political, because when it first started happening, I mean, we were seeing it on the news, but like, remember the first case was in Canada, first case nearing, the U.S. So it was right up there over above Oregon. And I remember because we were having our conference and our keynote speaker, she was coming from whatever. And we're like, oh man, is she going to, like, we have no idea. And she made it, everything went off without a hitch. But I remembered, like, it wasn't political at the beginning, right? Like, not just yet. It happened pretty quick. But I can remember, Tom, here in Springfield, we went over to Walmart. We were just doing some grocery shopping, and the mask thing hadn't turned political just yet. And I remember we had ours on. We're like, I don't know, do we put the mask on? We're like, we feel silly, but like, fucking whatever. We have to go get some groceries, right? And I'll never forget this, man. We stepped out of the car, and this dude in a truck is driving by, and he goes, you don't have to wear that mask anymore. And I'm like, oh, weird. And like, again, I hadn't heard really one utterance of this, and I was like, what a weird thing. I'm like, I know, but, like, the world's weird right now, so, like, whatever, And I'll just never forget, like, yeah, the masks were silly. And, like, I always felt, whatever, I'm like, what, this thing ain't doing shit, right? But at the same time, I'm like, the world is really weird right now. And, it's not that big of a deal. And then the mess that MAGA went and made of the mask, just the mask alone, right? And then everything that flowed from it, like, what the shit? I swear, if Trump would have just been like, and we got these MAGA masks, they're the best.
Merch.
All these fucks would have worn them everywhere, and this wouldn't even have been a thing. It's a mask, and like, you babies can't even wear that. Like, I know it sucks, but like, come on.
Like, and see, I guess,
and like, it goes from there. Judgy. It's insane.
so judgmental, right? Like I remember I would go to church and it'd be like, you don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to. And there would be people that would come in with a mask and they'd sit through service and then they'd leave. And then there'd be people that come into service with a mask and then they would walk out and like take their whole family. And so it's like everybody's tolerance level for offense is different. Like some people can be very offended very lightly. Other people, it takes a lot to be offended. And kind of the inverse of that is like there are people that like love to get in other people's business. And like the guy that drove by you with the mask, like, why would you ever do that? Like, who thinks it's okay to be like, hey, you idiot, take the mask? It's like, what does that have to do with you? I just don't understand the, I'm a big MYOB believer for as long as possible.
Man, if only we all could be, right? Because I think that gets at like the center of everything.
I missed what you even said here. MYOB, what? BYOB?
Mind your own business.
Oh, mind your own business. Okay.
Because I think I said something like that, and you were like, well, barbarians at the gate. When do you stop minding your own business, Bobby? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. My family? And I was like, oh, so your family. It's your family. You're not worried about everybody's family. And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I can't, it's just there's only so much that we can control. And I guess I don't know. I just try to like to think that there's some level of control that we have, and that's it. Outside of that, stuff's going to happen because there's too many things that have already been in place and moving for that to not happen. But I mean, I don't know I wish I was a physics person to understand how all that works. I know it took something. I know some Native American, like let me say it this way: we are members of a Native American tribe, and so 9 generations ago, someone in my family had a baby with somebody that was a documented, full-blooded Chickasaw Nation tribeswoman. And those 9 generations ago led me to where I am right now.
Wow.
And I'm 38 years old. So I'm 1/5/12 Chickasaw. And so
whatever, Pocahontas.
So 38 years later have led me to right here. And so again, it's almost like so many bad things could happen, but like, I'm here. This is what I can do right here. I don't have $1 trillion to deploy. I think certain people obviously can be a lot more impactful than others. And I think that's probably my viewpoint of like, okay, if I had some resources to marshal, maybe it would be different, but I don't. So my perspective is smaller or narrower than maybe it
That's
should
all
be.
of us. That's all of us, though.
But a lot of people will be like,
not the like. All of us like have no power, right? Like for real. Yeah. And like I think if we all just play a small part in just talking and entertaining without reacting and just talking about these things, even that is enough. So like don't sell yourself short. Even just being on this podcast, man, like you're doing stuff. So this is what we all need to be doing.
I think so many people don't have the time for it.
Totally.
Like life is so
100%.
busy, and it's like yes. My wife has been yelling at me for 2 hours. I didn't put the kids to bed. My mom was in the background. She's sleeping on the couch.
You're in
you're busted.
I'm not even going to bed. I'm sleeping right back here on the other couch. And so it's like part of it too is the important and the urgent, right? That battle of I should know more. I should be better educated. I should be more well-read. I should be more well-rounded. But it's like I've got to get up in 4
hours in a day.
Yeah, well, and it's like again, right? You can't marshal the same even environment that other people can. Like Mike, if you lived a day in my life, you'd be like, "What the?"
Oh, of course.
And vice versa, right? And so it's so interesting how people can have this opinion on others that like they're so right or they're so wrong or they're so left, they're so right, and it's like you just don't. Yeah.
That's the thing that everyone needs to remember is that We're all in the middle. Stop with this shit. Always assume that we have way more in common than we don't, like the old saying goes. And if you start from that standpoint, things will change. And like, this world is so far away from acting like that, it's not even funny. But if we can find a way to do that, so much of our woes would go away. It's insane. And like, it's unintuitive because it's the simple thing. But if you know, I get it, nobody has time. Well, for the 1 second you cross somebody's path that day, like, be the good human. That's it, right? Like, I know you don't have 4 hours to do the podcast, but just be the better person all the time. And when you fail, do it next time, right? Like,
it's interesting too, because imagine if you're in a competition with a group of people of like, I'm going to be better than you today, but like in a positive way. So like, here you go. Yes. I'll tell you my better than you thing this week. Okay, I'm better than you because
yes,
Monday or Tuesday, a senior citizen called and said, "Hey, my garage door is broken." We go out there. Her garage door opener is broken. She's on fixed income. Her home in DFW is probably worth $100,000. So essentially, it's like it's not much. There's not much to it. She goes, but I need to be able to go because I have to go to the doctor. We're like, okay, well, this new thing is $1,000. She's like, well, I can't afford it. I go, okay, well, we'll just put it in and then we'll leave and you call us if it stops working. We'll just cover it. She's like, what do you mean you'll cover it? I go, well, it's like, honestly, it's a couple $100 in parts and we can pay the guys. So like, we'll just do it. She's like, can you send me that in writing? Like, I don't have a contract. I don't have a quote. I was like, here's what I'll do. Put Eddie on the phone. So I'm just saying, like, it's so easy and you have power, you have autonomy to do good things for people. At what cost? The opportunity cost to do the right thing is so low. And whatever you're doing, if you're it doesn't really matter what you do. Sometimes you can't give away other people's stuff, so you're limited, yep, right? Yes. People would say you're like in cahoots. If you're at Walgreens and a lady's like, I can't pay for my water, and you're like, just take it, they'll fire you. So like that's problematic. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know, you can just do stuff every day. It's little stuff. It's just little stuff.
Yep. Amen. Speaking of little stuff, you should probably save yourself, man. Yeah. Get off this podcast.
I was cooked 2 hours ago, Mike.
This turned out to be a treat, by the way, Bobby. I mean, yes, you were wonderful. Oh, fantastic.
Indeed.
Yep. You guys are great, man. It's thank you, but no. So I don't know if I think Tom knows this, but my mom was the biggest Bill Clinton fan. We love Bill Clinton because we were poor in the 90s and she had 3 children. So she grew up worshiping Bill Clinton. Monica Lewinsky, Sheminsky. Didn't matter. Doesn't care. Don't matter.
Sheminsky.
Yeah, it just so her worldview is like this was what's good for my family. And so he did this thing that was wrong, but like look at all the good he did. And so it's just I don't know, it's interesting just how your environment changes, or not changes, but it shapes so much about your perspective. And then it's up to you to go fact find and do other things if you want to, or believe otherwise. But you got to talk to people smarter than you.
Yep.
Easy to find.
This was
thankfully.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We just fucking throw a dart at the board.
Mike?
Like, there we go.
Where's Mike and Tom? Talk to these guys.
I'm just making shit up. I'm just making stuff up and hoping somebody tells me what they think about the shit I'm making up.
I love the people that act like they know everything, and they're like, "No, that's wrong," and you're like, "Okay, well, where's the right?" And they're like,
You have to. Yes, so okay. Good. So
just say you don't know, and then say the thing you think. So at least we know that you're not making stuff up.
Yep, and they'll just dig even further, and it has to change, man. This stuff has to change. Bobby, this was really good, man. Remember when we hit stop here, still chill for just a little bit because it'll finish uploading.
Uploading
and whatnot. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we should. I imagine we'll be reaching out to guests that we've had for follow-ups later. So if this was fun, Oh, and first, I imagine you're cool with us. Like, obviously, we'll edit it and take all the stuff out.
Yeah, we can drop anything.
Really, just for like dead space and stuff. But if there's anything that you're like,
No, it's kind of one of those things. If you say it, you just got to kind of stand behind it and deal with whatever that.
That's where we're at.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
But admittedly, too, sometimes the context of the conversation may frame it in a way that you don't intend. And that's fair, right?
It'll be a full episode. It's not like we're editing whole swatches out or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, whatever you guys need to do in terms of editing, by all means. I just enjoy talking about stuff and picking stuff up from other people, and if it helps somebody or raises a question at hand, that's cool. If somebody hates me because of it, I could deal.
Yeah. This was fantastic.
It's the whole idea.
I picked up a lot of your worldview, Bobby. This was good stuff.
Thanks, guys. This is fun.
Yeah, and just for point of clarity, like the whole thing with this show is to expose conversations about worldviews and show that you can do so without having to go, cutting people down or resorting to bullshit. If anything, this is a lesson on how to have a conversation with people, and that's as much as we could want out of this. Mm-hmm. So, success.
That's the only thing we're trying to illustrate. Yep. This was amazing.
Good stuff, guys.
All right. Excellent. Bobby, good luck tonight. And let's talk soon, man.
Thanks, guys.
This has been the Middle Outcast. Real conversations for a fractured world. With echo chambers being the norm and polarization being inevitable, we go beyond the noise, beyond the headlines. We have real, raw conversations that matter. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. Remember, you can find the show on all the major podcasting platforms. Plus, find even more at our website at middleoutcast.com. Remember, there's a lot more than what's on the surface, and that's why we're here. See you next time on the Middle Out Podcast.